Last year, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats men's basketball team had one of their better years in recent memory. They went 17-17 overall, had 11-7 in SWAC play, won their first ever SWAC tournament game against Southern, and got to their second ever true postseason appearance, falling by 1 in the first round of the CBI against a very good Arkansas State team. Well, throw that all out the window, because it's 2025, and only 3 players return for head coach Reggie Theus from the team that went deep in the postseason a year ago. It's a lot to figure out. A lot changed. A lot of new faces to learn. And we're going to get it started right now as we kick off 2025 men's basketball here at the Al Lawson Center on the campus of Florida A&M. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Former Bethune-Cookman University student and Kedai Network commentator Henson White is back again for another go-round here in Tallahassee. Henson, men's basketball, got to put the women's game behind us where the Wildcats came up just short. This men's team, the record only 3 wins, but man, they have looked good in some of their other games.
Yeah, I mean, hey, 3 wins isn't, we can't lie and make that sound impressive. But in those 3 wins, in a lot of those losses, they played really good games up until late.
Yeah.
Right? Really good performances out of a lot of guys. Reggie Ward Jr., one of the main holdovers from that last year's squad that went to that postseason appearance and did well in the SWAC tournament, has kind of come out because, as one of the only remaining starters from that team, has taken a huge jump, a big role as a senior. But the transfers, the new guys in, are really where this team has started to come into its own, Mike.
I mean, you got to talk about it at the start. Number 1, Trey Thomas, the junior from Washington, D.C., transfer from Hampton. Best three-point percentage on the team, 39.1. Best free throw percentage on the team, 81.4. The star of the show right now is the senior from Coastal Carolina, Brayon Freeman, leading the team in scoring, 16.4 points per game. He also leads the team in assists and steals. Brayon is doing it all for the Maroon and Gold early on in this season. From Spain, as transfer from Missouri, Jesus Caralero Martin leads the team in blocks with 23 and has done well in the pick and roll. And you mentioned him, Reggie Ward Jr. leads the SWAC in rebounding at 8.2 rebounds per game. Let's look at the other side. Florida A&M is also 3-8. They have 3 wins on the year. Those wins coming against Trinity Baptist, Presbyterian, and Trinity College. And I have here listed a win at Utah. That's a loss. That was my mistake. They only have 3 wins on the year. 2 of those against non-D1 schools. Completely unproven team. Another team that is almost completely different than last year. Alex Andrews, Miles Hall, Saeed Burnside. 3 of the only 5 returning players for Florida A&M. Their key player returning is Roderick Coffey from Plainsville, Ohio. Last year, averaged 4.3 points a game for FAMU. He leads the team in assists. Trey Lewis, tied for the team lead in assists. He's a transfer from Des Moines Community College. And their top scorer is Sterling Young, the transfer from Charlotte, originally from New York City. He is their top scorer at 12.6 points per game. But the key note, Henson, about this Florida A&M men's basketball team is they are deep, they play a big rotation, and they don't play a ton of minutes.
Yeah, they love rotating out guys. That's a big part of their motto early in this season. Partially could be because you want to see a lot of guys early in the season, especially out of conference. But I think that's also something that they're going to look to implement. Grambling State did it a lot on both men's and women's, and they're going to look to kind of replicate that this season. Nobody in the team is in the top 25 in the SWAC for minutes a game, which is very impressive. That's a ton of rotation. That's a ton of guys that are just getting on the court and trying to prove something and prove themselves. And if you look back to the last time the Wildcats were here, those Wildcats won in overtime, a 1-point victory, a Deshaun Dyson legacy game, if you do remember. A ton of clutch shots there late. Seneca Willoughby
hit the clutch 3 at the end of the game to win it. We were sitting at this scores table going berserk. Seneca Willoughby is one of the holdovers for this Wildcats team, but he hasn't played a ton this season. New head coach for Florida A&M, Patrick Crary II, comes from La Sierra University, but before that, a former national champion at NAIA level at Washington Adventist, and then spent the last 6 years at St. Thomas down in South Florida at the NAIA level. 6 21 seasons and 6 NAIA national tournament appearances. He's the 2-time reigning Sun Conference Coach of the Year, and he brings a wide open modern basketball style to this team. A lot of threes, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of ball screens. Look out for the up-tempo offense of this Florida A&M team. As we get ready to meet the starting lineups, there's a lot of numbers to dive in. The Wildcats offensively, not great. Defensively, terrific. Top 2, top 3 in the SWAC in most defensive statistical categories. 8th or 9th in most offensive statistical categories, and they have not been great on the glass. The Wildcats averaging just 32.5 rebounds per game, which is 10th out of 12 schools in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Let's meet the starting lineups. First, for Bethune-Cookman University, led by head coach Reggie Theus in his 4th season. His assistants, Patrick Eberhardt, Billy Garrett, Richard Grant, at Ambrose Mosley. A junior guard from Washington, D.C., a transfer from Hampton, Trey Thomas. He leads the team in three-point percentage at 39.1%. A senior guard from Oxon Hill, Maryland, Brayon Freeman, a transfer from Coastal Carolina, as per mentioned, leads the team in points, assists, and steals. A graduate student forward from Malaga, España, a transfer from Missouri, Jesus Caralero Martin. He leads the SWAC in blocks with 23. The one holdover starter from last year, Reggie Ward Jr., the senior forward from Chicago, Illinois, leads the SWAC in rebounds per game. And Daniel Ruzon, the junior forward from Las Vegas, Nevada, a transfer from Manhattan College. He leads the team in field goal percentage at 52.6. As we get ready to meet the FAMU starters in a second after the video board plays. We'll run you through them right now. The starters for Florida A&M are as follows. A graduate student guard from District Heights, Maryland, Milton Matthews. Matthews leads the team in free throw percentage at 93%. He's only missed 1 free throw so far this season. Another starter for Florida A&M is the junior forward from Los Angeles, California, Shakir O'Neal. Yes, that is the son of Shaquille O'Neal. He started his career at Texas Southern. 2 years there, didn't really get a lot of playing time, but he is motoring, averaging 9.5 points and 3.5 boards this season. The third starter for Florida A&M is the junior forward Jameen Charles from Antigua and Barbuda, and a transfer from Glenn Junior College. He leads this team in rebounds per game and blocks. And the final starter for Florida A&M is the graduate student forward Jadarius Eatman. He is the only starter that was here last year for the Rattlers. Eaton leads this team in field goal percentage, 6'10", 235 out of Birmingham, Alabama. Last year, he only played half the season due to an injury. Averaged 4.9 points and 2.4 rebounds. So he did not feature in this game last year as the hype video for FAMU men's basketball plays before their introductions. The Wildcats are going to go as Brayon Freeman goes. When he has an off night, the team tends to struggle offensively, but if he's on, like he has been a couple of times this year, especially in that win over North Dakota at the Cancun Challenge, oh my goodness, watch out, because he can light it up.
Must have loved Mexico as the Wildcats come out. And this kind of, if you've ever seen the Cleveland Cavs newer jerseys, somewhat similar.
All maroon.
All maroon. While unlike the women's team, that the Rattlers are going all white, normal home colors for the Rattlers as the mascot has come out.
Yeah.
I don't know where he was hiding for the women's game.
But Florida A&M, of course, the only school in the country to wear the LeBron James branding on their uniforms.
Yeah.
And they are in all white with a orange number. Florida above the numbers, A&M below the numbers. all in orange, a orange and green stripe down the sides. The Wildcats in all maroon, gold numbers with no trim, no white on the jerseys at all, just maroon and gold. Gold around the neck, a spiked gold stripe down the sides. The introductions have happened. The referees are giving their final instructions to Coach Reggie Theus and Coach Patrick Crary. And we are just about to get the second game of our doubleheader underway. B-CU is 7-3 in their last 10 games against Florida A&M on the men's side, and 5-1 since joining the SWAC. We've really much owned this team on the men's side since Coach Reggie Theus took charge, and it's really been the only team we've been consistently good against, maybe except Mississippi Valley. It's going to be important, new crop of players, but the mentality has to remain the same, especially against your biggest rival.
Yep, and I think that's part of the reason we perform so well. You know, this is the game you got to get up for. This is the game that everybody cares about, because at the end of the day, we could go 2 and hopefully not, but lose out in the SWAC. But if we beat FAMU twice, well, we beat FAMU twice.
Yeah. Here we go. The Wildcats will attack the basket to listeners' left. Florida A&M will attack the basket to listeners' right. It'll be Eatman against Daniel Ruzon at center court. The referee stands in. The ball is tipped, and Jesus Carolito Martin wins the tip for the Wildcats, and we are underway. Brayon Freeman from Oxon Hill, Maryland, transfer from Coastal Carolina, controls out high to the right, bounce past Martin, high right wing side. Martin dribbles it twice, gives it back to Freeman, straight on 3, off the glass, no good, didn't even hit the rim, and Florida A&M grabs the rebound. So not a lot happening on the first offensive possession for the Wildcats. Here come the Rattlers. This is Jacoby Hendricks on the ball right now, the leader in steals for this team. He hands off to Eatman, who drives past Martin, and a jump shot is good, and on the board is Florida A&M. It's 2-0. Mid-range jump shot good for Jacoby Hendricks. 2-0 Rattlers. Wildcats with the ball, 1 minute gone by. Trey Thomas back to Reggie Ward Jr. Martin now in the high post, hands it back to Freeman. Freeman tries to get around a screen. Back to Martin, 5 to shoot, into the corner, a 3 on the way, too strong from Ward. Offensive rebound by Ruzon, but it dribbles out of bounds off of Florida A&M, and the Wildcats will keep it. Last touch by Milton Matthews.
2 quick threes for the Wildcats, a tough midi made by the Rattlers, but seeing a lot of good motion out of the Wildcats. They're not letting the Rattlers defense really get to them all that much.
Wildcats not a great three-point shooting team, just 31% on the year. The ball goes into Ruzon on the right-hand corner, off the baseline inbound, 15 to shoot. Ruzon working, driving, kicks it to the corner, extra pass, Martin. His wing 3, just a little bit too strong, and the Rattlers grab the board via Jameen Charles. So Wildcats have had a lot of shots early on. None of them have gone down, as they're 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. They've only taken 3s to begin the game. Here's Florida A&M, a dribble handoff off a zoom action to Matthews. He hands back, and the ball goes into the left-hand corner for Hendricks. Pull-up jumper, good. He hit one from the right elbow. Now he's got one from the left-hand elbow, and Jacory Hendricks has all 4 Rattler points with 2 minutes gone by.
Yep, and that's why you practice on both sides in practice, young basketball players. Makes it on both elbows. Wildcats
Freeman kicks it back. Martin, top of the key, down low. Ruzon lost it out of bounds. And the Wildcats, 2 turnovers and 0 for 3 from the floor in their first 3 trips. Not a great start offensively for a team that only averages 64 points a game. By contrast, Florida A&M averages 71. And neither of those numbers are really that good. 9th and 7th in the SWAC, respectively. In the low block for Florida A&M, here is the layup. It is no good. Charles missed it after he tried to back down Ruzon. Trey Thomas, deep 3, logo 3, in and out. Ruzon offensive board, put back good, and the Wildcats are on the scoreboard.
What? Tough finish. I thought he was going to get a call there, but yeah, nice. A crazy deep 3 from Thomas.
Nice job by Ruzon. Wildcats down 4-2, 17 minutes to go in the first half. Here is Hendricks. He's got all 4 for the Rattlers. He gets a screen from Charles, goes left, jump stop in the lane, floater good. He's hit one from the left, he's hit one from the right, and now he hits one from straight on. All floaters in the lane as the Wildcats go quickly in transition. A reverse layup for Brayon Freeman, no good. Rebounded by Florida A&M. Here's Shakir O'Neal. Step back baseline, no good. Rebound Ward.
Not something his dad would have done. Tell you that much. Reggie Ward pulls the ball top of the key.
Ward handoff Thomas. And a weave pattern. The ball eventually comes to Brayon Freeman. Ruzan sets the screen and then dives. They go left-hand corner, wide open. Carolero Martin, a triple, no. And the Wildcats are 0 for 4 from beyond the arc to begin the game. They just keep shooting the three ball.
Yeah, and nobody, except for that one time on by Rosen, nobody's in the paint when they're shooting these threes. So it's pretty much automatic possession given over to the Rattlers off of the three.
Florida A&M tries a little weave action now. Hendricks, who's got all of their points. Hands off left-hand corner. Charles lost the ball. It dribbles out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rattlers after Reggie Ward Jr. saw it come off his fingertips. And the first substitution of many, I presume, for Florida A&M tonight brings in the junior from Plainsville, Ohio, Roderick Coffey, who is on this Florida A&M team last year. One of the 5 players brought back by head coach Patrick Crary. Inbounding offensively is Florida A&M under the basket that they attack. The listeners right, just 4 on the shot clock. A quick trigger 3 is way short, didn't even hit the rim. And the Wildcats take it. Reggie Ward throws it, a long pass across to Thomas. He goes all the way under, puts it up, off the rim, no good. Ruzan can't get the board, it comes to Coffey. So the Wildcats just can't get anything going on the offensive side. Where have you heard that before? Kick to the corner, O'Neal a 3, bang!
And Jesus is out of the frame. Tried to close down on that, and I think almost took somebody out.
9-2 in the first 5 minutes. Freeman kicks all the way across to the right-hand side for Thomas, then gets it back. Gets a screen from Ruzan. Blitzing the screen is FAMU. Freeman goes all the way underneath. Kick out Ward. Baseline runner for Ward. He's stopped by O'Neal in the paint. Ward continues his dribble. 4 to shoot. Ward drives into the paint. Jump stop. Backdoor cut. Ruzan can't come up with it, and it's a shot clock violation. And that's the first media timeout of the contest. The Wildcats 1 for 8 from the floor, 0 for 5 from 3, and trail 9-2. Bethune-Cookman University Athletics is proud to announce the Hail Maroon and Gold Collective, a groundbreaking partnership with student-athlete NIL, a leading name, image, and likeness management platform. Through Hail Maroon and Gold, the most passionate Wildcat fans and businesses can engage with Bethune-Cookman Athletics and its student-athletes like never before. And ensure our winning ways continue at Bethune-Cookman University for decades to come. And if you love Bethune-Cookman University sports, then don't miss Hail Wildcats Radio, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of all 15 Wildcat sports programs, hosted by voice of the Wildcats Michael Turillo and featuring the expertise of sports information directors Bryce Ranowski and Brian Harvey. Hail Wildcats Radio delivers unparalleled coverage of your favorite teams. Tune in to 1380 WELE Daytona Beach every Saturday to catch the show live or listen anytime on your favorite podcast platform. So we're on Christmas break of Hail Wildcats Radio, but we will be back on the air next Saturday on 1380 WELE, breaking down not only the 2 games today, but previewing the conference matchups on the road next week for Bethune-Cookman as the men and women travel to Louisiana to take on Grambling State and Southern. Right now, it's all Florida A&M. Hendricks has 4, O'Neal has 3, Matthews has 2 for Florida A&M. For the Wildcats, Daniel Ruzan, his putback layup is the only points the Wildcats have. 5 of their 8 attempts have been from 3. They've missed all of them.
Yeah. And it's not like they're bad looks. Outside of the Trey Thomas 3 from the logo, every other 3 has been open. It's not like they're just forcing them up. They just don't have anybody crashing
Ironically, the logo 3 from Thomas was the only one the Wildcats scored on because Daniel Ruzan got the offensive rebound. It'll be Florida A&M ball. 15 minutes to go first half. They lead at 9-2. And the ball's in the hands of Jacoby Hendricks, who's got 4 already. He hands off to Jadarius Eaton, who's just checked in. Back to Milton Matthews. Matthews throws it right side. Hendricks drives all the way into the paint. Kick, bounce pass to the corner. 3 on the way, short from O'Neal. Flashing through for the rebound is Hendricks, but he lost the ball to Ward, and the Wildcats take possession. Crossing the time stripe with 14:37 to go in the half. Brayon Freeman stands on the Rattler logo, looks for something to develop in front of him. He'll go to Carolero Martin on the right-hand wing. Martin to Thomas, who picks up his dribble, shoots, no good. Rebound tapped all the way out and taken by the Rattlers' Milton Matthews. Another empty possession for the Cats. Quick to the corner. Coffey gets his defender in the air, throws it back to Hendricks at the top. 4-3, misses everything, goes out of bounds, but it was last touched by Ward. Ward wasn't even paying attention. That three-point shot was so bad, it landed on Ward's head and went out of bounds without him even knowing it. So the Rattlers get really lucky right there.
Yeah, Reggie Ward was flashing through, trying to follow his man, and just kind of gets knocked in the head and tries to go and catch it, but by the time he realizes it's already out of bounds. And
a couple of changes for the Rattlers. Sterling Young comes back in. Remember, no Rattler is over 22 minutes per game. Nobody in the top 25 of the conference in that stat. Rattlers with a inbound baseline under the basket that they attack the listeners right. It comes up to Trey Lewis. He tries a 3, misses it right. Good box out by Martin. And the Wildcats take possession. Brayon Freeman attacks all the way in on Lewis, gets stripped. Lewis pokes the ball away. It's taken by Sterling Young. And then Young is tripped up at the midcourt stripe. He gets the ball away. It's still with the Rattlers into the corner. Nice escape dribble. A 3 is good for Trey Lewis. And it's 12-2, a 10-point lead for Florida A&M.
flashbacks.
Flashbacks to the women's game where they trailed 15-2 at one point. Brayon Freeman goes around a screen, back to Martin. Thomas, high right wing side, screened by Ruzan. Thomas gets a back screen, goes all the way in, gets his shot blocked by Jameen Charles. Here come the Rattlers, shovel pass to the corner. Transition, attacking the basket and floating it up short is Lewis. And the Wildcats grab the board, it's Brayon Freeman. The Wildcats, 1 of 9 from the floor. Freeman, all the way in, up and under, got it. Brayon with a little bit of an individual effort. And the Wildcats are back on the board, breaking a big scoreless drought. And it's still 12-4, Rattlers. Roderick Coffey, guarded by Freeman, goes left, gets a screen from O'Neal, kicks to the left-hand corner, baseline drive, kick back, O'Neal, 3, no. And the rebound is taken by Trey Thomas. Thomas pushing for the Wildcats. Here's Ward. Into the corner, Martin, then Ward gets it back. Ward back to Martin, playing a little two-man game in the right-hand corner. Martin thinking about the step-back triple. Instead, he drives, puts the ball on the floor into the low post, almost coughs it up. Has to escape it to Freeman all the way back by the midcourt stripe. Trem to shoot. Freeman dribbles, spins, into the paint, floats it up. Nothing called. The ball's out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats with 3.5 to shoot as it dribbled out of bounds off of Coffey. And changes for the Wildcats for the first time of the game. David Onanina, the 6'8" redshirt sophomore center out of Yaoundé, Cameroon, and Eastern Kentucky comes in, as well as Seneca Willoughby, who hit that hero shot in this building last year in overtime. 3.5 to shoot off the baseline attack. Brayon Freeman on the baseline, under the basket, gotta get it up, and it's a shot clock violation as the ball was blocked again. So 2 straight blocks for Jameen Charles. And the Wildcats have already turned the ball over 3 times. Correction, 4 times. Florida A&M back on the ball. Face guarded by Freeman is Lewis. He gives it up to O'Neal as they want to weave action. Back to Lewis, right-hand side, right in front of us here at the scorer's table. Lewis drives all the way to the free throw line, picks up his dribble, looks for an escape, finds Young. Young now drives. He's guarded by Willoughby. Young backs all the way up with 6 to shoot. Switched on to him is Martin. Young drives into the paint, has his shot rejected from behind by Seneca Willoughby, and it'll be a Rattler ball on the baseline with 1.5 seconds to shoot after this media timeout. SWAC basketball is right around the corner. Don't miss your chance to catch every second of B-CU basketball action at Moore Gym. The Wildcats will host a men's and women's doubleheader on Saturday, January 18th, as they welcome Mississippi Valley State for a crucial conference matchup. Student admission is always free. If you can't make it to Moore, catch it all live on youtube.com/Cats Network. And it's been a long, old wait for Bethune-Cookman men's basketball to get a home game at Moore Gymnasium. They played their only home game of non-conference schedule on the 16th of November. So it's exactly 2 months between the last time they played a home game and the next time they'll play a home game. Actually, just over 2 months, because the 18th is the Saturday. The 16th is when the women play on Thursday.
And what's crazy is this is almost the closest they've been to home outside of the game against South Florida in Tampa.
Yep. Their trips included Texas Tech, Nebraska, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Tulane, North Dakota, Gardner-Webb, Minnesota, Virginia, West Virginia, South Florida, the win over South Florida in Tampa, Davidson, and number 17, Mississippi State. That game against Mississippi State, the Wildcats looked in it for a long time, and it was close, and then Mississippi State, they went on a 9-0 run right at the end and just nipped Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah. And the defense of the Wildcats has been pretty good, right? Rattlers are only shooting 5 of 13, and outside of a couple of really good shots from Hendricks, they really haven't had anything consistent. Yeah. But the Wildcats, similar to the women's team,
2 of 12.
2 of 12, 16% from the field.
1.5 on the clock, baseline in for Florida A&M. They get the ball in the corner, 3 on the way. It is no good. And a rebound to Reggie Ward, who leads the conference in rebounds, and he's already got his second of the night. Ward controls out, high bounce pass Freeman. He's guarded closely by Trey Lewis. Willoughby back down low, pick and roll. Onanina missed the layup, and a foul is going to be called late. Yeah, you put your hands in the air as Onanina got pushed hard on that shot attempt, and he's going to go to the line. Onanina transferred from Eastern Kentucky, originally from Yaoundé, Cameroon, but attended high school in Arlington, Virginia.
Yep. Great catch on that pass from Willoughby, and then he just kind of tried to go up with it and gets pushed and then kind of almost elbowed by 2 Rattlers defenders. Goes to the line.
The first front throw is no good. That's only the second miss at the line for Onanina this year. He was 5 of 6 from the stripe coming into the game. They called the foul on Shakir O'Neal. That's his first. 1 team foul on the Rattlers, none on the Wildcats. So whistles firmly in the mouths of the referees here early. Onanina's second free throw attempt is good, and the Wildcats are down 12 to 3.
Rather unorthodox free throw shot, but goes down. And
sorry. The scoreboard says 12-5. My stat sheet says 12-4. So we'll see. Deep 3, no good for Milton Matthews, and the Wildcats will take a possession back.
12-5. It updates for the live stats, thanks.
12-5 is the official score. Willoughby back to Martine and across to Freeman off the Martine screen. Freeman drives all the way in, underneath the basket, kicks it out. Ward wide open for 3. Kaboom! From the right wing, and finally a 3 goes down. They were 0 for 5 previously.
Got a wide open 3. I mean, you can't leave most D1 athletes in basketball open from 3 that much. Ooh.
Skip pass, right-hand wing, 3 on the way, responded by Sterling Young. Sterling Young, his 21st 3 of the season, he's shooting it at 37.7%. So the lead at 15-8 for the Rattlers so far. Freeman, tough catch against the Rattler bench. It cycles back to Ward and then back to the top for Brayon. Gets a back screen, throws it back to Martine. He's open for a 3 from straight on, swishes it down.
And all of a sudden, as I said earlier, the looks are good. You just got to you got to start making them. And
so now it's 15-11. The Wildcats have connected on the last 2 3-pointers. Thomas all the way in, throws the ball away, and it'll be Wildcat ball. Great defense by Onanina, denying the smaller Lewis access to the lane. He tried to kick it to the corner, and there was nobody wearing green and orange over there.
Yeah, great job by Onanina and Martin, who comes down and makes sure that he can't cut it back and forces him to try to make that hero ball-esque throw, because he was going out of bounds regardless.
Yep. Wildcats will take it in, 9:56 to go first half, down 15-11. They've hit their last 2 threes after starting 0-5. Seneca Willoughby runs a weave with Freeman, screened by Onanina. He dives, doesn't get the ball. Ruzon out on top, back to Freeman. in the corner. And stepping on the out-of-bounds line is Reggie Ward, turning the ball over. That's the 5th turnover for the Wildcats in this first half. As Lewis comes back in. Actually, Lewis goes out. O'Neal comes back in for the Rattlers. O'Neal's the only person who's picked up a foul in this game so far.
Yeah.
9.5 to go, 15-11 Rattlers in a low-scoring contest here at the Al Lawson Center to open SWAC play for these two teams. Seneca Willoughby blows up a pick and roll. The ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rattlers. Great job by Willoughby to deny that pass, just batted out of bounds.
Yeah, checks on his coaches. He almost runs them over, but I think they love that tenacity on defense.
Up top for the Rattlers, here's Jameen Charles. He throws it down low, offensive foul as a push-off is called by Milton Matthews. That's Seneca Willoughby again.
Yeah, shoves. They didn't even like hide the shove. It wasn't like a closed hand. Literally open palm shoved them. So gets the most obvious push-off call possibly of the day.
Yeah.
SWAC play all over the place. So no.
Listen, you've been around this league long enough, as have I. 9:15 to go. Wildcats down 15-11 with the ball in the hands of Seneca Willoughby. Plays Ruse on top of the key. Ruse on one dribble, hands off Freeman. Brayon drives underneath the basket. It goes to Onanina. He puts up a hook shot and connects. David Onanina with the 50s-esque hook shot in the lane.
Yep.
And the Wildcat lead deficit is only 2, 15-13.
And a very 50s-esque build, 6'8", 230. Just a big guy doing big guy things on that shot.
Wildcats trail by 10. They're now down by just 2. Sterling Young controls out high, the native of New York City. Goes to the left-hand wing, thinks about the three. He does take it over Onanina, misses it, long rebound Willoughby. Here come the Cats. Hand off Freeman. Freeman back to Willoughby. Seneca pulls up, and he hits it. An arrow from long range, similar to the three that he hit in overtime here last year. And the Wildcats have the lead at 16-15 with 8:13 to go first half. Really slow developing play here for the Rattlers as Coffey drives in on Onanina, gets to the paint, has it stripped by Onanina. Ball's loose on the ground. Coffey gets it back on the baseline, 8 to shoot. It swings around. Matthew, a right wing three, boom. And just when the Wildcats take the lead, the Rattlers respond, and it's 18-16 FAMU with 7:45 to go in the first half.
And Coach Diaz almost came on the floor on that play.
Can't do that, Coach. Your playing days are long behind you. No look pass. Backdoor Onanina with the two-hand jam. Great pass by Ruzon.
Yeah, I'm liking this ball movement a lot from the Wildcats.
And this is a Wildcats team that doesn't assist very much. 11th in the SWAC at assist at under 10 per game. That was a nifty one right there, though. High screen game for the Rattlers on the Rattler logo at midcourt. The ball eventually ends up in the hands of Sterling Young. The Wildcats sag off of him, and he misses the wide open three straight on. Rebound Ward. Wildcats get lucky there.
Yeah, very lucky. Both defenders went with the
With
fader
the cutter.
and just almost disaster.
Double screen up top for Freeman. He goes left. It's in the paint. Floater. Kaboom. Brayon Freeman has been unlocked.
Tough shot, tough floater.
And the Wildcats take the lead back 20-18. 6:42 to go first half. Up on top, the handoff goes to Coffey. And in the corner, back to Lewis. Lewis now works his way to the top of the key. Drives on Ward. The ball kicks off of Ward and out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rattlers after this media timeout. Man, a quick stat check here. The Wildcats, after starting just 2 of their first 10, they've hit now 8 of 18, 44% from the floor, 3 of 8 from 3. They have held Florida A&M to just 36.8% from the floor, 7 of 19, 4 for 13 for 3 from the Rattlers, and they lead 20-18 with 6:29 to go in the third. Any stats jumping out off the page to you so far, Henson?
I mean, as we said, the minutes very evenly spread for FAMU. That was something we pointed out at the start of the game. But importantly, both teams very even in scoring. No guy has more than 5 points. Probably somebody, I don't think anybody bet on that. David
Onanina.
Onanina. I wanted to get it right.
Yeah.
Onanina, 5 points, 1 from the line, 2 field goals. And then Matthews for the Rattlers with 5. Had those early shots. I haven't really heard from him since. And then Freeman with 4. Reggie Wood with 3, Willoughby with 3, Roseanne with 2, Thomas with 0.
Yeah, but really the only person who hasn't scored is Trey Thomas, and he averages 12.9 a night, so we got to get him going.
Yeah, but the Wildcats have done, that defense has done a great job. Mind you, only 3 turnovers for the Rattlers, so they're doing all of this, allowing them to get those shots off. 19 shot attempts from the Rattlers, but only 7 of them going down, 36% from the field, and no foul. Nobody's been sent to the line for the Rattlers. And partially because there's a very tight whistle. I don't know if they saw the women's game before and were like, we're not doing that. A very tight whistle to start this game. Only 2 fouls, and they were pretty obvious ones. So, as Coach Diaz, depending on your opinion on him, kind of in the face of Trey Thomas before he goes back out there.
Yeah, it's a bit of confusion. The Rattlers thought the Wildcats had the ball. The Wildcats thought the Rattlers had the ball. It is Rattler ball, baseline inbound under the basket that they attack to listeners right. The gunner will be Jacoby Hendricks, who's got 4 points. He had the first 4 points of the game for FAMU, has been quiet since. 10 to shoot on the shot clock, 6:29 to go in the first half. Looking for a way in. It does get it into Matthews, and then resets to Sterling Young with 6 to shoot. Young against Trey Thomas. Young goes left, kicks it out. Hendricks. O'Neal, a wing 3, short. And the rebound grab by Daniel Ruzon.
That was a good look from O'Neal. Almost got it stolen, and does a good job to try to pull that up, but just doesn't make it.
Brayon Freeman on the baseline. Correction, that's Ruzon. Kicks it back to Thomas. Tough catch at the top of the arc. He corrals it, goes down the lane, underneath, gets it to Ruzon. Ruzon goes back up, gets it stripped. Lots of contact, no whistle. Florida A&M in transition. Coast to coast goes Matthews. He's stopped at the lane by Willoughby as the Wildcats race back in transition. Driving the lane is Hendricks. He gets stripped, but the ball kicks back out to Young. He drives all the way in. Floater is good.
Yeah. Very tight whistle for both teams. I mean, you could have called a foul on probably both of those shots, and no one would have really batted an eye.
Tied at 20, 5.5 to go first half. Wildcats working a way out on top. It comes to the new man, Khalil Kamara, into the game for the first time. Now Trey Thomas around the Ruzon screen, gets into the paint. Onanina up and under. He crashes to the ground. No whistle. Offensive rebound for the Wildcats. Deep 3 from Trey Thomas is short. That was almost from the Rattler bench, and the Rattlers take the rebound.
Have the referees possibly lost their whistles? Not sure.
There is a fine line between calling a game tightly and not calling anything. 4:50 to go. Rattlers on the ball. Ball in the left-hand corner. Skipped all the way to the right. O'Neal. Handoff Matthews. Trapped in the corner. Back to O'Neal's 3 to shoot. O'Neal working on Martin. Has to chuck it up. Did it hit the rim?
Nope.
Nope. But the Wildcats grab the board with Onanina anyway. And get it back. Tied at 20. 4.5 to go in the first half. A low-scoring contest here from the Al Lawson Center in Tallahassee. Seneca Willoughby drives right of the lane. Kicks to the corner. Thomas, pull-up jumper from mid-range, just off. Ruzon, offensive board, but the ball will stay with the Wildcats as it goes out of bounds off of Young, and the Wildcats will have a baseline inbound with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Carletto Martin comes in to replace David Onanina. So, like in years past for this Wildcats men's team, height is an issue, right? Their tallest player, Jerome Bea, has only seen the floor for a couple minutes so far this season. Your other bigs, Ruzon and Onanina, are only 6'8".
Yep.
The ball comes in to Seneca Willoughby at the top, 18 to shoot. He is guarded by Sterling Young. He gets a screen from Ruzon. Willoughby all the way into the lane. Behind the back, step back jumper, rattles down for Seneca Willoughby as he pumps his chest. 22-20.
Tough shot from Seneca. Just kind of put a quick behind the back and
Thomas.
Ooh.
Tough defense on Hendricks, who falls down. A ball is jumped on. It should be a jump ball. Great defense from Trey Thomas, who forced Hendricks to slip down.
Whoa, tech.
And a technical foul has been called, as we'll go to a media timeout. Did you see who got the tech? Because I was looking it down trying to catch a stat.
I'm not sure if they called it or they just went to the media timeout. I think they were motioning him off because Eatman was giving an earful to the referees. Oh, I thought
and Coach Diaz is now giving an earful to the referees.
In his own way.
Yeah, we'll see. So let's run that back for you real quick while we have some time. Sterling Young tried to drive right of the lane. Trey Thomas did a great job, hands up, good defense, forced him to slip down, and then Eatman and Thomas dove on the ball. It should be a jump ball.
Yes.
I didn't see the referees make the jump ball call. Here, I'll ask the referee real quick.
We ask and we get a yes on the jump ball call. So it is possession arrow favors the Rattlers.
Yes.
So Rattlers ball. Seneca Willoughby came in for the afters, tried to get the ball as well, and I think due to how, a little rough, you might say, Willoughby came in. Eatman had problems with that. The refs not calling anything on that occasion, so obviously
and I'm sure that was part of the dissertation that was being handed out by Coach Diaz. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest B-CU Nike gear at Nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University athletics to the fullest by the latest B-CU athletics gear online at the B-CU online store. That's bcuathletics.com, and click on shop to find the newest B-CU clothing and apparel. So after the jump ball, it'll be Florida A&M ball. Wildcats up 22-20, 3:57 to go in a low-scoring first half here in the Al Lawson Center. Young inbounds for the Rattlers right in front of us here at the scorer's table. Gets it in to Jacoby Hendricks, who's got 4 points tonight. He scored the first 4 for the Rattlers and has been quiet since. He hands off to Milton Matthews, top of the key. And they go left to O'Neal. Posting up is Charles. He spins, he slams it home. Correction, that's Jadarius Eatman.
That was a good move.
So we're tied at 22. Here's Khalil Kamara, the graduate student. Tries a three and hits it. Nobody looked at Khalil Kamara, and he says, I'll make you pay for that. Kamara from the Bronx, New York, a transfer from Division II West Virginia State. Pick and roll is blown up by Thomas, stolen by Martin. Martin into the front court looking for a way to go with the ball, picks up his dribble, finds Thomas at the free throw line. He'll go left, tough floater, no good. Rebound fought for and won by the Rattlers, but falling to the ground as Eatman traveled with the ball.
Which is,
is a call.
Is a call. Made. I'm not 100% sure. The FAMU faithful are, as you can hear, not exactly happy with that.
There's a bigger crowd in this building than I thought there would be today. I mean, the students are still on Christmas break, so it's a lot of locals here tonight cheering on the Rattlers.
New look team, new coach.
Underneath it goes. Tough shot for Willoughby. Didn't get it to fall. Milton Matthews takes it away for the Rattlers. In transition, here's O'Neal driving through traffic, coughs it up, stolen by Kamara. Kamara dribbles into the front court, hands off Willoughby. Seneca now picks up his dribble, tries to throw it underneath to Martin, and the pass is deflected by Eatman and stolen by the Rattlers. Shakir O'Neal took it away. Wildcats lead 25-22 with 2.5 to go in this first half. They go down low to Eatman. He'll work on Onanina on the right baseline. Eatman goes with the spin, the hook, and the score off the window.
Onanina played about as good of defense as you can in that situation without fouling, and just a tough shot made by Eatman.
Up by just one now. 25-24, 2:13 to go in the first half. Willoughby face guarded by Young, way out high on the logo. Looks for the screen from Martin, doesn't get it. Now ducks it into Martin on the low block. Carrero drives, kicks it out. Kamara, a three. Kaboom again! Khalil Kamara's got 2 triples.
Whoa, what? Oh, timeout.
And a timeout is called by head coach Patrick Carey in Florida A&M. Khalil Kamara, welcome to the show, young man. He's hit 7 threes coming into this game. He's got 2 in the first half. He just shoots the ball at 21.9%. Well, he's 100% tonight.
Yeah, you know, when you have it going, you have it going. Probably looking for a heat check in the next couple of plays with 1:57 left in this game as FAMU plays advertisements over the media breaks in-house today. But
1:57 left, Wildcats by 4, 28-24. Khalil Kamara is an interesting story. Another guy from NYC, so kind of like Sterling Young on the Rattlers side. Played his first 2 college seasons at Northeastern Oklahoma, 2 trips to the NC Junior College Regionals, then a year at Gaston Community College, and last year at Division II West Virginia State, averaged 8.2 points and 3 rebounds for a team that made the Division II National Championship Tournament.
And now almost has his average last year in points in the first half.
He's got 6, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc.
Steal in 4 minutes.
Yeah. And how about Daniel Ruzon? 5 boards already for the Wildcats so far.
Really good.
This is a team that is 10th in the SWAC in rebounding, but has the best rebounder in the SWAC in Reggie Ward Jr. Yep. So it's not about Ward stepping up, it's about everybody else. Rattlers on offense, Wildcats up 4. Matthews right wing. Into the paint, it goes to Young. He almost lost the ball, but recovers back by the midcourt stripe. Young with a head of steam drives at Martine. Stopped at the free throw line. Now he picks up his dribble, drives again, and is fouled. Misses the layup short. Martine protesting that he was straight up on defense. The referees saw it differently, and for the first time in the game, the Rattlers will head to the free throw line. And the first foul on Martine, only the second foul in the game.
I mean, third. Matthews has 1, O'Neal has 1, but it feels like the second. I mean, that O'Neal foul was super early in the game.
Yep.
Just kind of been playing basketball, quite all honesty.
Sterling Young, the transfer from Charlotte, makes the first free throw. Milton Matthews, the top scorer for this Florida A&M team he's the top free throw shooter, 93%. He's the second on the team in scoring, 105 points. He followed his head coach, Patrick Curry, from St. Thomas down in South Florida. So Young gets set for the second free throw as he tries to bring the Rattlers closer. He missed it, and Martine gets the rebound.
Great rebound.
Great box out against the larger Eatman. Reggie Ward is going to run the point for the Wildcats on this possession. He'll hand off between the circles to Thomas. Martine posts up high right wing side, then gets it back to Thomas. Now the screen. Rattlers blitz it, 10 to shoot. Ooh. Martine skips through, plays Ward. Ward boxed in the left-hand corner, 3 to shoot. He drives the baseline, 2 to shoot, up and under, got it to go, but he stepped out of bounds first. Oh, man. That's a great finish from Reggie Ward, but he just stepped out of bounds.
And we're on the opposite side of the court, so we didn't really get a good angle.
Yeah, I heard the whistle. I thought he got an and one for a second. But anyway, Wildcats up by 3, 1:05 to go. Rattlers on offense. Both teams very even offensively. 41% from the floor for the Rattlers, 42 for the Wildcats. Right in front of the B-CU bench, it's Sterling Young, Eatman, and now Hendricks on the left wing. He drives all the way in, floats it up, no good, but a foul is called underneath on Kamara as that box out of Saeed Burnside is judged to be illegal. Saeed Burnside, one of 3 players that were not initially brought back by Coach Patrick Curry, but came to the open tryouts they had and made the team.
You'd hope, but...
Yeah, Saeed Burnside, Miles Hall, and Alex Andrews were those 3 players that made the team via walk-on. And so with 44.3 seconds to go, we have a timeout on the floor, and Florida A&M down 3 will have a chance to tie the game going into the break, as they will have an inbounds pass on the baseline under the basket that they attack to listeners' rights. Florida A&M, 4 of 15 from 3. The Wildcats, 5 for 11. The Wildcats, they got hot. They went on a big run in the middle of the first half and have kind of cooled off a little bit offensively. And I think what they're not doing enough of is moving the ball. It's a lot of solo ball.
Yep. A lot of solo ball, which has slowed down their play overall. They were doing really good with, moving the ball, getting quick looks, and that was why they got out to that lead that they had, the slightly larger lead. This game has never been too far from each other.
The largest lead for the Rattlers is 10. For the Wildcats, it's just 4. And right now, it's just 3. They go underneath. Burnside layup good. Correction, that's Eatman. Jadarius Eatman gets the bucket, and the lead is just 1, 28-27 for the Wildcats. Brayon Freeman out high, goes left and right, then spins and gets the ball ripped away from him from behind. The ball is on the floor, dived on by both teams. It'll be a jump ball, and the Wildcats will take possession on the alternating arrow.
Can now hold till last shot, but I mean, that one was, she was spinning and kind of gets caught mid-air a little bit, but I mean, consistent. I can't, you can't argue against that.
FAMU has charged in the last couple of minutes. B-CU scoreless the last 137. FAMU 3 of their last 4 from the floor. The Wildcats just 1 of their last 4. Kamara to inbound on the baseline. He gets it into Ward. Reggie Ward throws it all the way back. Kamara for 3. Oh, short. He finally missed one. But now the Rattlers have 20 seconds as Carl Martin goes down holding his face. They throw it in the front court. Nobody got back for the Wildcats. Finally, Brayon Freeman does. He fouls Eatman as he goes for a layup. Carl Martin gets up, is yelling at the referee. He wants there to be a flagrant. He thought he got hit in the face. He went down in a heap.
And they're going to review it. I mean, I don't know. He didn't, he's from Spain. Soccer is popular over there. Maybe we're, but he went down pretty fast and consistent. And he's built big enough where it's not like a simple elbow would have just taken him out. And usually in those kind of situations, you see refs at least review before they let play continue. But Jesus Martin, 6'7", 225. So
Eaton will have 2 free throws with 12.9 to go. But we may have some free throws the other way for a flagrant. We'll see. We do not have the benefit of replay here at the scorer's table. Across the way, they do have the replay, and that's what they're looking at. Henson Mimes looking through invisible binoculars over there. We can't see what they're looking at. So remember, we are reviewing a play where Jesus Carl Martin tried to get a rebound, went down holding his face, and he has asked for a review thinking he got hit upside the head by an elbow or a shoulder. The Wildcats, with 12 seconds left to go in the first half, have not had a field goal since the 2:05 mark. That was the second three-pointer from Khalil Kamara. So they have just gone as cold as ice from the floor over the last 2 minutes. And again, their biggest lead has been 4. So the defense has been doing a good enough job to keep them in the game. Their lead is 1 right now.
Defense has been excellent, respectively, for the Wildcats. They've done a really good job, not really any fouling going on. Kept them under, 42%. They've gotten up their percentage up with his last couple of possessions, but 4 for 15 from beyond the arc, 5 for 11 for the Wildcats. Yeah, so they could keep 46, 45, 50, 40% from beyond the arc. That's a pretty good shooting split, if I do say so myself, especially if they keep the Rattlers under 30. And now the refs are,
well, no, so the way it works is 2 refs review it, then they rotate so the 3rd ref can review it. That's what happened now. So it's a tough start for the Wildcats to conference play, as they are at Florida A&M, then the road trip next weekend at Grambling State, at Southern, so at the reigning champions, and then at the team that they beat in the SWAC tournament last year in the first round, an always dangerous Southern team.
And that was an amazing game against Southern last year at Moore Gymnasium. Amazing game. Probably the best game, one of the best games of the season in terms of drama.
So trying to read body language, it looks like they are going to call something against Florida A&M. Because I saw the referees pointing to both benches and now
talking to both
coaches as Trey Thomas is over at the free throw line for the Wildcats with potentially fragrant free throws here coming. Hopefully we can get an official over to this side of the floor to explain to us what the call is in a second. We think that it is going to be a flagrant against somebody on Florida A&M, excuse me. We'll give Bethune-Cookman shots, and then after that, FAMU will have free throws because Brayon Freeman, in that confusion, fouled Jadarius Eatman as he went up. So Trey Thomas looks set to take the flagrant free throw for the Wildcats. He is the best free throw shooter on the team, 81.4%, Trey Thomas.
And I guess they're gonna do FAMU's free throws first.
Yes, because the Wildcats get possession off the flagrant.
And then Coach Chieri of Florida A&M bears an awful resemblance to Boston Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, which caught me off guard for a second.
And they're wearing the same colors, too.
Yeah, I had to think about it.
Here comes the referee to explain what's going on. Oh, no, he's not going to explain. He's not going to explain to us.
We're not cool.
Free throws coming for Jadarius Eatman. He's a 46% free throw shooter. Now, Coach Theus wants clarification on what's going on as the referee goes all the way over to talk to him. Now
my fault.
Now Theus is placated. Now Eatman goes to the line. Jadarius leads this team in field goal percentage at 58.6, but his free throw percentage is only 46.7 for the graduate student from Birmingham, Alabama. And a transfer 2 years ago from Lawson State Community College misses his first free throw off to the left. He's only averaging 3.5 points and 2.5 boards per game as Eatman. And he's already got 6 points and 3 boards tonight. So a really good game in the first half for Jadarius, but he misses both free throws. Are we having a Baldo Lie moment here?
Yeah, Baldo arguably comes back, and number 2, Freeman on the Wildcats fouled the life out of him on the shot up.
So now Carlito Martin is going to take the flagrant free throws. He makes the first one, and it's 29-27 Wildcats. 12.9 seconds to go, and the Wildcats will get the ball here, I believe. So they'll have a chance to take the final shot and take a 2-score lead into the break. Carlito Martin rattles down the second free throw, hits them both 30-27, 3-point lead for the Cats, and Wildcat ball with 12 seconds to go in the first half. And what do you draw up here if you're Theus?
Think you go.
And Theus wants a timeout.
Makes
sense.
Nope,
Oh, he's not going to get it.
Well,
so now the Wildcats will have a baseline in. Basket that they attack to listeners left. 13 seconds. Reggie Ward controls out high off the inbounds pass. He hands to Brayon Freeman. They blitz the screen.
Foul?
And a foul is called as reaching in.
They wanted the foul.
Is Roderick Coffey. Not in the bonus, though, is the Wildcats. There's only 4 fouls on the Rattlers, 3 on the Cats. So they'll have to do another inbounds play, 4.9 to go. That's actually a smart foul. Trey Thomas crosses up a defender, gets fouled. It looks like the end of the game, of a game here. It's only the end of the first half, 2.5 to go. But this is smart by Florida A&M, not allowing the Wildcats to get a shot off because they're nowhere near the bonus. Still 2 fouls from the single bonus and 2.5 to go. They're just going to have to get a catch and shoot here. Freeman, deep 3, missed it. And a really good tactic for Florida A&M to prevent the Wildcats from getting a good look at the end of the half. But the Wildcats have the lead going into the break. They're doing pretty well from 3 land, 5 of 12, 45.5% as they lead at 30-27. Quick thoughts on the first half before we break for halftime.
Very good job by the Wildcats defense. Pretty consistent throughout that first half. I think that flagrant call kind of sucked the air out of the arena for both teams. I think neither team really has momentum heading into this halftime. The Wildcats have the lead, though, and that's the most important thing in the game of basketball. So Wildcats just need to keep getting, if they can keep that percentage as good as it is right now, around 40% from beyond the arc, and could keep the Rattlers at around 26%, which is what they are right now. I think they are going to be in pole position to win this game. And the next step is, please do not hit Jesus anymore. As you can see, you were punished. I mean, that's in the book.
We'll take a break for the half. About 10 minutes. When we come back, Sabrina Petit-Home will have her halftime thoughts. That's coming up after the break. At halftime, it's Bethune-Cookman 30, Florida A&M 27, right here on Cat-Eye Network Radio. Welcome back to the Al Lawson Center on the campus of Florida A&M University. It's halftime here between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Florida A&M Rattlers. The first game of SWAC conference play for B-CU men's basketball, and they lead it 30-27. I'm now joined on the B-CU halftime report by Sabrina Petit-Home, Cat Network student and commentator for the Cat Eye Network. Sabrina, your thoughts on the first half?
First and foremost, I'm so happy to be back, and what a great way to bring back the spring semester than a rival game here at the Bragg Stadium. We could definitely see that 9 minutes into the game that David Onanina is all over the board today, and he might be on the way to player of the game, but I'll be able to update you guys about that soon. But the Wildcats started with a really cold start, but it's really refreshing to see them warm up throughout the game. It kind of seems like everybody are all over the board, but then we start to see the Wildcats start to, cool down a little bit. Just maybe 2 minutes left in the game. They only put up 1 bucket. So when they come back after halftime, I really would love to see the Wildcats stay hot the entire game. Mike? That would really change the trajectory on how the game is going to go and maybe possibly keep up the lead against the FAMU Rattlers.
I want your opinion on something. The Wildcats, on average this season, are averaging 9.3 assists per game. Right now, they've got 5. What do they need to do to bring that number up in the second half? Because when they share the ball, they have success.
I think they need to share one brain at this point. I think, since it is a rival game, they tend to get in their head a little bit more. But I think once the Wildcats are able to play that synchronized playing that they always usually do, then we might be able to be on our way to a win.
The Wildcats have done well defensively. What have you seen on that side of the ball that has allowed them to corral this FAMU attack?
Instead of one player seeing the entire court, it's like the entire team on the court is seeing the entire court. Entire players, is seeing the entire court. So they're able to see out the different defensive plays that we're not seeing, and they're be able to rebounding a lot more, especially from last season. We didn't see much rebounding, but you could definitely see the change in that.
Thank you, Sabrina. We'll hear from you at the end of today's contest. That was Sabrina Petit-Home. You can follow her at Bree Buckets on Instagram. Bethune-Cookman leads this one 30-27 at the halftime. Here are your halftime scoring totals. First for Florida A&M. Eatman has 6. Young has 6. Matthews has 5. Hendricks has 4. He got the first 4 points of the game and has missed all of his shots since. O'Neal's got 3, and that flagrant foul right at the end of the first half on Carolero Martin. And Lewis has 3. Charles Coffey and Burnside have played but not scored for Florida A&M. For Bethune-Cookman, it's been a light roster today for the Wildcats. Khalil Kamara with his 2 3-point shots has 6 points to lead the team. Carolero Martin, Willoughby, and Onanina all have 5. Grayon Freeman has 4. Reggie Ward has 3. Daniel Razan has 2. And Trey Thomas has yet to score. As I welcome back Henson White to the broadcast desk. Henson, I was just reviewing the Wildcats scoring numbers. They're kind of all over the place, but our 2 best scorers, Grayon Freeman and Trey Thomas, have not been able to get going at all. Freeman with 4, Thomas with 0. What do they have to do to start getting going in this second half?
Freeman's gotten some good looks, but he's been forcing the ball up a lot. Especially with these high volume scorers, they want to get points on the board. They feel like they're letting that team down by not scoring. So they're going to put up more shots and more shots. But when that shot's not going down, you got to be able to do something else. Thomas has done a good job on defense and getting rebounds when he hasn't been making those baskets. He's 0 for 7 currently, but he's doing stuff on the other side of the ball. If he was playing and giving up, it's like, my shot's not going down. I'm not going to play to my fullest, my 100. We wouldn't be winning this game right now.
Yeah.
So on one hand, yes, is it unfortunate that 2 of our best scorers aren't really performing right now, Freeman and Thomas? Yes. But on the other hand, is it really, really good that even in a game where they're not showing up to how we know they can show up, the Wildcats are still on top and have still made this a really good first half performance?
Team stats are like this. B-CU is out rebounding FAMU 19-6 and 5-3 on the offensive glass, leading to 4 second chance points for Bethune-Cookman, 2 for Florida A&M. 5 assists for the Wildcats, 6 for Florida A&M. Both teams have turned the ball over 8 times. A refreshing only 16 combined turnovers in the first half after we had 70 combined turnovers in the women's game. Points in the paint, 12 for FAMU, 10 for the Wildcats. The thing that the Wildcats need to capitalize on, they only have 4 points off those 8 turnovers. The Rattlers have 9 points off the 8 Wildcat turnovers. So that is a definite area of improvement as we are about a minute away from starting half number 2. Thank you for joining us, Michael Toretto, Henson White, and Sabrina Petit-Hol, our halftime and post-game correspondent here at the Al Lawson Center. Start of conference play. It's the start of 2025. Happy New Year to everybody listening. Happy New Year to you, Henson. It's been great having you back on the broadcast. A throwback to last year and all the good times we had traveling around the Southeastern Athletic Conference.
Yeah. Went all over the place. Went to Birmingham where the Wildcats put on a pretty solid performance. Came out for baseball. Went up to UNF. Was it UNF? Jacksonville University to call some games. We got a pizza here at FAMU as well. I guess it's a late birthday present, Capricorn Nation. I know you're on air right now. The refs are asking for my pizza. I cannot give them the pizza. I think that'd be considered a bribe legally by the NCAA.
Unfortunately can't do that.
So we can't do that. But we're about 3 seconds from starting back this second half of Wildcat basketball, where, as we said before, 30-27, the Wildcats are out in front of the FAMU Rattlers. The 3-ball has really been the main difference between the two teams. Both teams making 11 shots, but the Wildcats importantly have one more made 3 on a much better shooting percentage, 5 of 12 compared to 4 for 15. And considering how the Wildcats started the game, if you told me at the half that they'd have a better shooting percentage, I'd be very, very confused.
Florida A&M will start with the ball. They attack the basket to listeners left. Jacoby Hendricks starts with the ball. We're underway. High weave action ends with Shakir O'Neal, who picked up that flagrant foul at the end of the first half. Into the low block, here's Jadarius Eatman on the baseline against Ruzon. Almost lost the ball. He's bullying Ruzon back, and Ruzon wins the battle. Ball is turned over. Here come the Wildcats. Trey Thomas across the time stripe. Reggie Ward takes it from Brayon Freeman right in front of us here at the scorer's table. Thomas scoreless today. They duck in at the high post to Carrero Martin, back to Freeman, left-hand wing. Gets a screen, goes it back on the pick and roll. Martin has his shot blocked, and it'll stay with the Wildcats as the 6'11" Jameen Charles got up and blocked that shot.
Just kind of one of those mean things that you can do when you're taller than your opponent. You can just sometimes bully ball them a little bit.
He barely jumped to block that shot. Wildcats with the baseline inbound. They go under the basket. Ward gets fouled, and he hits the deck hard.
Jeez.
And they're going to get,
didn't see a number, just kind of.
I think it might be Hendricks. We'll see when it comes across the.
2 guys who could have gotten called there, honestly.
Hendricks or Eatman. It's got to be one of the 2. Oh, no, it's O'Neal. So it's his 3rd personal foul.
I don't know even where he came in at.
All right, well. Now Reggie Ward at the free throw line, and he sinks the first points of the second half for the Wildcats. Reggie Ward Jr. is a 69.7% free throw shooter on the season, averaging almost a double-double, 11 points and 8 rebounds. He's been so huge, and a really big keep for this Wildcats team that lost all but 3 players in the offseason. The second one is no good, batted out of bounds, Wildcat ball. No, Rattler's ball.
How?
And Coach Theus not happy with that. Oh, it'll be a Wildcat ball. Just like the women's game, the back official came in and overruled the baseline official because there was a tip the baseline official couldn't see. I saw it from here.
Yeah, I mean, his angle was different than ours, to be fair to him, but that was pretty obvious that no Wildcat really could have even put enough on that ball to make it do what it did. But.
All right, Wildcats baseline in. Freeman on a zoom action. Misses the ball, but he gets it back. He lost the ball, stood up, get it back, and now he'll slow it down, 10 to shoot. Freeman waiting for the screen from Ruzon. Goes left. Goes to the lane. Bully ball through. Up and under. Good off the glass from Brayon Freeman. Nice move by Bray.
But Coach Theus does not like that move at all. Told him to not do that.
Well, it worked. 33-27 Cats. 18:44 to go second half. Handoff, right-hand wing. Jacoby Hendricks drives left to the lane against Ward. Kicks it back out to Milton Matthews, the transfer from St. Thomas. Across to Roderick Coffey. Coffey blocked up by Ruzon at the free throw line. 5 to shoot. Escape dribble to his right. A 3 on the way from Eatman, no good. Putback, Hendricks took the 3. Eatman tried to put the putback up and got fouled. And Reggie Ward picks up the foul, his first. One of the things the Wildcats really did do well in the first half is not foul. Only picked up 3 personals in the first half.
And the only issue with what the Rattlers did to end that first half, very intelligent, mind you, fouling so that the Wildcats really couldn't get an open look to end that half, as the first one rattles in.
This is Jameen Charles at the line, so I was all sorts of turned around on that play. My apologies.
That's what happened. Everybody's tall, and they're all wearing a very similar colored jersey. They do have names on the back, but it's
hard to see.
Hard to see with the orange on the white, plus the little pattern design thing they have going on the back is gray.
Making them both is Charles, 33-29, Wildcats on top. Reggie Ward controls out high, hands to Trey Thomas, and then to Breon Freeman. Down it goes Martin, gets a shove in the back at the free throw line. Plays Freeman in front of his own bench, then sets the screen. Bray tried to throw it back to Martin, and the ball is batted into the Wildcat bench by Jacoby Hendricks, who's been making a nuisance of himself at the point guard position defensively. 10 to shoot for the Cats. They'll have an inbounds pass right in front of their own bench. The ball comes into Trey Thomas, who backs up near the midcourt stripe, guarded by Matthews. Thomas goes all the way in, and he is fouled, sandwiched between Eatman and Charles. Either one of them could pick that one up. Yeah. Great move by Thomas to get by Matthews, who had pushed him all the way back towards the midcourt line.
And hey, you want to break that egg, perfect chance right now. 0 points, maybe no more pink shoes for the rest of the season, man.
He is wearing very fashionable bright pink shoes.
Yeah, it's like almost a lilac. I don't even.
First free throw is good for Trey Thomas. I did mention he leads this team in free throw percentage at 81.4%.
Yeah, but he gets hype at the first free throw make.
He's finally on the board.
Yep. And I feel like now that he's broken it, he's going to be much better in this second half as he makes both.
Almost missed that second one, but he did fall in off the front of the rim. And it's 35-29 Wildcats.
6-point lead now.
Just got to get some good defensive possessions, keep the Rattlers at arm's length. Right-hand wing, here's Matthews. Matthews backs up into the corner, takes a triple, misses it long.
Great defense.
Rebound by Thomas. He tries to push in transition, does Trey Thomas. Now he'll slow it up as he crosses the time stripe. Throws it right-hand side to Ward, almost runs into the referee. And they'll reset back to the top. Freeman near the midcourt stripe. 16 to shoot, 17.5 to go in the game. Wildcats up by 6. Ward in front of Reggie Theus at the bench, now into the left-hand corner. Thomas spinning on the baseline, fading away, hitting the shot. Oh, no, he missed it. My apologies. The referee was right in front of me, and I saw the net ripple, but he missed it. On the other end, a nice transition bucket for Jameen Charles. Nice move in the open floor by Roderick Coffey, and then a bullet pass underneath the basket to Charles for the easy layup, and it's 35-31.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues with long possession kind of oriented basketball. If you're not making your shots, you just end up.
Ward drives, floater, no good off the glass. Battle for the rebound is on the floor, won by the Rattlers. Great board by Roderick Coffey. It goes out of bounds, it'll be Rattler ball.
But a great job by Ward to not allow them to really get anything out of that in transition. Immediately pops up trying to get his own board. Doesn't get the board, but immediately gets into that passing lane and forces the ball out of bounds, resetting the Rattlers.
Chance for a quick swing here for the Rattlers as they're down by 4, 35-31, but with the ball, 16:40 to go in the game. Out on top, here's Coffey. Guarded by Ward, right-hand corner. 3 on the way from Matthews. Long on the shot, offensive rebound by Eatman, but he lost the ball, picked up by Ward. And I think Ward may have got a hand on it, too, to force the turnover. Breon Freeman blows past the defender. Euro step into the lane, up and under. Oh, what a circus shot for Breon. He was parallel to the ground and still got it in off the glass.
He was almost in push-up position in reference to the ground and made a super tough layup.
What an unbelievable shot. Coming back the other way is Hendricks. The step back triple short. Flashing through for the offensive rebound is Coffey. Coffey plays baseline to Charles. Charles guarded by Ruzan. He bumps him down, picks up his dribble. Now plays it back to Coffey. Coffey drives right of the lane, puts up a floater, good, off the front of the rim.
Yeah, but considering how much space, Thomas got lost a little bit on a dribble move, almost an open 3, but misses, and ends up getting only 2 out of that possession.
37-33, Wildcats on top. Breon Freeman drives, gets all the way through, crashes to the ground, and finishes again. What another one by Breon Freeman. He's got 4 straight on ridiculous layups. Matthews driving, met at the top by Martin, and a foul is called. And the first media timeout of the second half has come to pass as Jesus Carralero Martin picks up his second foul. So when we come back, it'll be Matthews at the line to shoot two. The Wildcats lead 39-33. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give B-CU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on X and Instagram at BCU_Athletics. For the latest on B-CU men's basketball, follow at B-CU Hoops on Twitter and Instagram. I want a quick shout out our executive producer of the Cat Eye Network and director of digital content, Eugene Robinson, for those game day graphics he did today. If you haven't seen those on our socials, go check them out. They are en fuego.
Learn a little bit of Spanish.
I got to learn a little bit of Spanish when we got Carralero Martin on the team this year. I keep waiting for him to hit a three. I've got one waiting in the old noggin.
I have a block thing waiting, so we'll trade off. But great, pretty good start for the Wildcats starting out this second half. 3-point lead, already had a 3-point lead in the first half, so now 9-6 scoring in reference to each other. The Rattlers are 0 for 4 from beyond the arc in this second half. Meanwhile, the Wildcats have not taken a three.
Which is wild because their first 5 shots of the first half were all threes for Bethune-Cookman. They missed all of them. And then it took Khalil Kamara coming in and hitting 2 straight for the Wildcats to start draining some triples.
As the pep band for the umpteenth time.
The pep band for the Rattlers is literally right next to us.
Yeah.
And so when they start playing, it's hard for us to hear each other through the headsets. So to the line for a pair of free throws goes the St. Thomas transfer for Florida A&M, Milton Matthews, originally from District Heights, Maryland. Started his career at an HBCU, North Carolina A&T, his freshman year. And in the last 2 years under head coach Crary at St. Thomas, averaged 18 points and 5 boards for the NAIA Bobcats. And the first free throw is good, 39-34.
As the Rattler faithful cheers him on at the line.
Well, Milton Matthews doesn't miss many free throws. He's 93% from the charity stripe and hits another one.
We tried the commentator curse him. It did not work.
It usually only works against your own team. Against the opposing team, it usually doesn't work lightweight. 39-35, Wildcats. Still with a 4-point advantage here with the ball. 15-10 to go in the ball game. Brayon Freeman, who scored the last 4 for the Wildcats on really nice driving layups.
2-3 zone implemented by the Rattlers.
They go into the paint. Reggie Ward lost it. Coughed it up, picked off by Lewis. Skip pass in transition. Spinning around is Coffey. He lost the ball out of bounds, and it's Wildcat ball. A little bit of the women's game coming back in the form of that sequence.
Yeah, a lot of tenacity on the defensive end there by Thomas. Forcing him, threw it off of Thomas's shoe, incidentally.
Yeah.
And then forces the offensive player for the Rattlers to push the ball out of bounds, and Wildcats get the ball back. Now it's a 3-2, kind of swapping between this 2-3 and a...
Freeman almost lost the ball on the right-hand wing. Bounce pass into the corner, Ruzon. Wildcats flustered by this zone a little bit that the Rattlers have switched into. 5 to shoot. Thomas down to Ward. 4 to shoot at the free throw line. Ward drives in, floats it up, hit the rim, no good. The ball is loose in the corner and grabbed by Roderick Coffey for Florida A&M. The Wildcats got to do something different against that 2-3 zone. That's 2 straight possessions where they got pretty much nothing. Good job by Thomas to prevent the break from Coffey. Now Coffey gets a screen, goes left, drives into the paint, floats it up to the back post to Charles, and Charles got it stripped by Carralero Martin. The ball goes out of bounds, last touched by Martin, and it'll stay with the Rattlers with 7 to shoot.
And Martin definitely has what we just skidded across the floor.
Yeah, he has been all over the place tonight, Carralero Martin. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and on the receiving end of a flagrant foul.
Yeah. And did a great job of selling the flagrant foul because they were not going to call that.
Yeah. Matthews at the top of the key, guarded by Willoughby, who's just checked in. Step back triple, too strong. Flashing in for the rebound and drawing the foul is Florida A&M. Man, oh man, they've killed us on the offensive glass today. Yeah. And David Onanina, who just checked in, picks up the foul, his first. I mean, we have more offensive rebounds, but it feels like the ones that the Rattlers had are more impactful. The ball comes in to Charles at the free throw line, hands back Matthews, gets a screen, goes right, pull up long two, good for Milton Matthews, whose career high is 45, excuse me, against Penn State Allegheny.
Oh, I was about to say Penn's D, but
well, he was at St. Thomas 2 years ago.
Deep three.
Brayon Freeman, deep three, misses it off the heel, and again, the Rattlers are just bigger, getting up for those rebounds. In transition, here's Coffey.
Great
Lost the
defense.
ball out of bounds. And it'll still be the Rattlers' ball if it was deflected by the Wildcats.
Yeah. Now only a 2-point lead for the Wildcats.
They've been
They need a
scoreless.
turnover.
Yeah.
And
Well, the Wildcats need a bucket. They've been scoreless over the last 2 minutes. Into Matthews, free throw line jumper. He's got a 6-0 run all by himself. 39 all, the game is tied. Big swing of momentum for Florida A&M right now. Wildcats need a bucket in a big way. Scoreless over the last 2 minutes. In the corner, Freeman, catch and shoot triple, long on it, and Martin missed the rebound, comes down to Coffey. Here comes Roderick Coffey, guarded by Ward. Back to Matthews, he's the hot hand right now. Thought about the three, and had the ball stripped by Willoughby. Great job by Seneca. Willoughby calls a play, hits Martin, right-hand wing, thinks about the three, goes down low, Onanina at the free throw line, backs his defender down, falls over, Brayon Freeman is right there to grab the ball.
Oh, wow.
Freeman into the paint, now he picks up the dribble, puts up a layup, it's short, and the ball goes out of bounds, but it's saved by Eatman. Really well done to save the ball. The Wildcats have gone ice cold from everywhere right now.
Yeah. Nothing falling, but
Coffey, nice dribble to get by Ward. Three from the corner, Matthews in and out, rebound Onanina. That would have probably caused a timeout by Coach Theus if that one had gone down. Still 29 all, 11:55 to go in the ballgame, and the crowd, who had been taken out of it by that nice Cookman run to start the half, has been brought back in. Willoughby, drive and kick to Martin, that gets it back in the corner. Willoughby corner triple, splish splash. The ball's taken a bath in the net from Seneca.
all right.
In transition, three from Matthews,
Way
missed it. Wildcats need to settle down here. The pace feels a little bit too frenetic. Willoughby will run the point.
But Seneca making that three was huge in terms of the momentum.
Horn
game.
set, Seneca goes left, drives in, hits Reggie Ward. He finishes off the glass, nice cut by Ward.
Ref screened me, but a great job by Reggie Ward to finish. Now stretching that lead back out to 5.
Lewis, guarded by Freeman at the midcourt stripe. Matthews doesn't get the ball. It goes back to Charles. Charles on the weave. Hands Matthews, top of the key, guarded by Martin. Now Martin switches on to Coffey. Coffey, guarded by Seneca now. Three to shoot. Step back triple from Coffey. Missed it. Didn't hit anything.
Foul.
And a foul as Reggie Ward grabbed the rebound and then was toppled over by Charles, and it'll be a media timeout as Brayon Freeman is getting an earful from his coach. I'm not sure what he's doing. I mean, Brayon Freeman is a fiery guy. I've seen some practices from this team. I've seen some closed-door scrimmage before the season. This is my first time seeing this men's team live in action in a regular season game. But Brayon Freeman, he likes to talk trash. He's you know, if that guy were a personality, it's Brayon Freeman. And that serves him well if he's hot, like he was on that run that the Wildcats went on to open the half. But sometimes he can go a little bit too far with it, and I think that's just Coach Theus trying to rein him in there.
Yeah. I mean, you always have guys, no matter what sport you play, you always have the guy, and especially due to his size, you know, somewhat, you'd argue, undersized guys, 6'2", 180. You know, you got to talk, you got to have something about you when you're going up against these 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys. And for him, it's talking trash and, oh, yeah, you know, all that extra. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it can get you into trouble. I think Coach Theus just wants him to stay on the beaten path somewhat.
Come be a part of B-CU Athletics and support the Cat Eye Network. If your business is interested in partnering with us here on the Cat Eye Network, You can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. That's bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. As the on-court festivities are going on, I'm not really sure what's happening. There's a blindfolded child kicking a basketball. I'm not sure what's happening on the court right now.
They were trying to have her find the basketball blindfolded, but the child here in Tallahassee cannot find a ball blindfolded. I think that speaks a lot about it, about Leon County. I'm joking, of course, but
I was going to say, aren't you from here?
I was born in Miramar, raised in Gaston County. Thank you. 850, stand up. But the Wildcats have stood up in the second half, keeping that lead kind of a arm's distance from the Rattlers. And I think if, that three goes down, this is a different game. But Seneca made a great shot.
Here we go again. Wildcats on the ball, 10.5 to go with a 6-point lead. Carlero Martin back to Trey Thomas. Thomas drives right of the lane, comes all the way back to the top. He takes a step back jumper, misses everything short. Carlero Martin is there for the rebound. He puts it inside Onanina. Underneath Ward on the right baseline. Ward goes up and under contact. No whistle, no bucket. Ward gets his own miss but steps out of bounds.
And
I think that time the no whistle was warranted. It was good defense by Eatman.
Yeah. It's just one of those games where you don't hear the whistle a lot, so you kind of are now hyper tuned to stuff that normally you might not care too much about.
We are halfway home in this second half. 10 minutes to go. Wildcats by 6. Wildcats defending now. Here is Roderick Coffey for the Rattlers, right in front of his own bench on the right wing side. Dribbles between his legs, drives against Ward, into the paint, up and under. Missed it short, but a foul. And Ward looks incredulously at the referee.
That's how I feel about that call.
In a game where the referees have not called a lot, that seems like a soft one to call.
Yeah, he kind of fades down now. I mean, he goes up, and then he comes down, and then by the time they call that foul, he's already like on his way back getting up. So it's like, okay.
Coffey hits the first one, and it is down to a 4-point game. It was a 5-point game, really not a 6. My apologies. Roderick Coffey, one of the players that have come back from this team from last year. 4.3 points, 2.5 rebounds. He was second on the team in steals last year, though, with 23 for FAMU. But right now, he's only got 5 steals on the season coming into tonight. He originally started his college career at Pensacola State. Second free throw is missed. And it is 44-40. Wildcats with the basketball in the lead. 9:47 to go in the game. Wildcats scoreless over the last 133. Would love a bucket here. Brayon Freeman rolls around the top of the key. Kicks left-hand corner. 3 on the way. Too strong. Martin put back. No. He was right there and just couldn't put it in. Pushed it too strong off the glass.
Yeah.
Here come the Rattlers. Sterling Young. He's been kind of quiet tonight. Drives into the lane against Onanina, picks up his dribble, now passes back. Matthews deep, straight on 3. Got it.
That's a tough shot.
1-point game. Milton Matthews up to 14 points to lead all scorers tonight. A majority of that in the second half. Wildcat lead just 1. Willoughby, mid-range jumper, short, rebound, Florida A&M. And a chance for the Rattlers to take their first lead of the second half. Coffey will slow play this one with 8:45 to go in the contest. Eventually it finds its way to Young. Heels on the Rattler logo. He gets a screen, goes right, goes all the way into the paint. And traveled. Shuffled his pivot foot as he complains to the referee about that. Wildcats get a stop.
And you know who you always look for when someone might be traveling? You look either at the refs or the oldest person in the arena. And 2 old guys on the corner both were calling the travel immediately. Travel is called, and Wildcats get the ball back. And if they score on this alternating possession, I think that's another example of the Rattlers having momentum.
Oh, Brayon Freeman slipped and fell down, lost the ball. 3-on-1 for the Rattlers. Matthews back, and rolling it in is Charles. And the Rattlers have their first lead of the second half, 45-44. It's their first lead since it was 18-16 at the 7:53 mark of the first half. Wildcats stone cold, scoreless for 3 minutes. Brayon Freeman off a weave action. Tries to back down Milton into the paint. Little hook shot is in and out for Ruzon. It went all the way down and popped back out. The Wildcats snake bitten on the offensive side right now.
Just
0 for their last 6.
Tough miss there.
Rattlers by 1 and the ball. 7:36 to go in the game. Coffee drives left to the lane, kicks to the corner. Driving is O'Neal, up and under, got it. O'Neal's been on the bench with those 2 fouls. He finally, 3 fouls, sorry, he finally comes back in and gets a bucket. He's up to 5. And the lead is 3 for FAMU. Brayon Freeman. Hands Carolero Martin. Right wing side, gives it back to Brayon, sets the screen. Freeman with 8 to shoot, back to Martin. Fakes the 3, drives, step back, kick to the corner, 3 on the shot clock. Here's the 3, good from Seneca! Another corner triple to tie the game at 47. Seneca's been on it tonight.
Yeah, he's just been camping in that corner. Has an apartment even in front of his bench. Made 2 threes, both times to kind of kill momentum from FAM.
Coffee in the right-hand corner. Guarded loosely by Ruzon. Coffee gets past Ruzon, lost the ball, but it comes straight to O'Neal, who falls over. And then he lost the ball. A bad scramble. It comes to the Wildcats. Ruzon takes it. Up the floor he goes. He lost the ball. Gets it back. Puts up a layup and scores. What a wild 5 seconds of basketball. Timeout on the floor.
Whoa.
What is happening right now, Henson?
I don't quite know. Very quick turnover of possession. He lost the ball. O'Neal slipped on his own volition. Loses the ball. Ball rolls. He tries to throw it back into play. Nobody.
Matthews almost got it. He lost it to Ruzon, who ran down and laid it in.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I think this is a good timeout by Reggie Theus. It's just the Wildcats have responded to going behind by going on a 5-0 run and leading 49-47. And just to settle things down, the action's been really frenetic and really disjointed on both sides, really. Neither team has run very efficient offense as we come down 6:23 to go, 49-47 B-CU. If you look at these teams' scoring averages, points per game, 64 for the Wildcats, 71 for the Rattlers. Neither team is really fantastic offensively, but both teams well under their season averages right now. The Wildcats just shooting 37.5% from the floor. They usually shoot 40%. Florida A&M shooting 43% from the floor. They usually shoot 41%. But really, the 43% from 3 for the Wildcats, including Seneca Willoughby 3 for 3, Khalil Kamara 2 for 2.
I mean, that's what you need when especially when your shots aren't going down for your main guys. You need some other guys to step up, get some points. Freeman kind of came back into the game in the second half, 10 points now, behind Willoughby with 11. But, you know, Thomas over 9. And, you know, we've seen this before with this Wildcats team when we have guys who are, really good scorers. But when they're cold, what does this team kind of become? You know, Deshaun Dyson played here last year and had a huge game against FAMU. But other games would sometimes get real cold, especially when we didn't have Zion Harmon. And then we would kind of be adrift. And then we would need Reggie Ward, DJ, Carter Hollinger, guys who were here last season. But it's a new season. It's a new year. And this year, Willoughby, who was a holdover from last season, has performed really well. Freeman has performed really well in this kind of the second half. Reggie Ward, Kamara with the 2 threes.
And Seneca Willoughby, I'm going to check at the next timeout. I think this might be his season high of 10 points. He's only averaging 2.6 per game.
Lowered the playing time. New guards came in.
Wow. Rattlers take possession. 6:10 to go. Wildcats 49. Florida A&M 47. Hendricks with the ball for Florida A&M. High post here is Jadarius Eatman. Throws it back to Matthews. He's the hottest hand in the building right now. Heat check triple. Banked it in. Milton Matthews gives the Rattlers the lead 50-49 off a bank shot from deep.
Yeah.
Ruzon gives it back to Freeman. Face guarded by Matthews. He goes past him.
What?
And traveled or
He got fouled.
I thought he got fouled, but it's Florida A&M ball.
And I think timeout?
And Freeman wants to know what he did. And Reggie Theus wants to know what he did. It's a foul on Freeman. They called it an offensive foul. I guess maybe a push-off as he tried to spin by Matthews.
Yeah.
That is a strange one. So while I look up this Seneca Willoughby stat, Henson, I want you to talk about how you've translated your experience with the Cat-Eye Network and gone beyond Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, so did a lot of commentary here. I mean, if you listened to a lot of basketball games last season, you might recognize my voice. But I graduated from Bethune-Cookman University last spring, one of the youngest graduates in the history of university. I'm currently in Tallahassee, at the other school in Tallahassee, Florida State University. Well, the other school, but Florida State University, getting my master's in media communication studies. And a lot of the Cat-Eye Network has taught me a lot in terms of being able to just work with the punches, work with the flow. Sometimes, you know, you go to these schools or you go to these events and, hey, don't have the greatest Wi-Fi, you don't have the greatest connection, live stats go down, and you just got to work through that kind of stuff a lot of time. I've done photography, videography work, a lot of opportunities that I likely wouldn't have gotten at somewhere like a Florida State, and I'm really thankful to Bethune-Cookman University and the wonderful people back home in Daytona Beach for 386. But hopefully the Wildcats can hear me talking positively about the university and score a couple more points. Down one, 50-49 currently. Matthews' hottest hand in the building, as you said, was ice cold overall. If you, I mean, 3 for 9 from beyond the arc doesn't inspire confidence. And I think what's the funniest thing about this is we made a big deal about them rotating a lot of guys and, you know, that being maybe a key in their game plan. But Matthews has played 30 minutes. Charles has played 26. Eatman 25, O'Neal 23, Coffey 21. I think Coach Crary has found his guys that he kind of wants to rock with as the season begins. I think a lot of that rotation early season was just to see what he got going on.
Wildcats token full court press. They get the ball in to Hendricks, and it'll be FAMU ball. 5:30 to go, up by 1. Big possession here for the Wildcats defensively. Tough catch top of the key for Charles. The big man tries to look inside for a backdoor cutter. Nobody's there. Hands it off to Trey Lewis. Lewis drives all the way in. Ruzon rejects it off the backboard. Here's Brayon Freeman charging ahead.
Foul?
All the way in. He is fouled.
In an act of shooting, I think the ref's calling.
No, they're going to send him on the baseline.
Okay.
So Brayon Freeman, great job to grab that ball off the absolute rejection by Daniel Ruzon off the backboard. That ball sprayed off the glass all the way out to midcourt where Freeman picked it up and drove to all the way. Got fouled, not in the act of shooting. Baseline in for the Wildcats. 5:10 to go, they're down by 1. It comes into the corner. Freeman back to Seneca Willoughby. Seneca, now Freeman, left-hand wing. Denies the screen from Ruzon. Off the glass, no good. Offensive board for Reggie Ward. He's battling down inside, and it's going to be a 3-second violation and give the ball back to the Rattlers.
And that.
You got to just put that one back up.
Yeah.
Maybe get fouled. Ward grabbed the rebound and just kind of did nothing under the basket. The Wildcats have really missed those opportunities. Again, only 7 points off of 12 FAMU turnovers, and the Rattlers are in the same position they were a minute ago, up by 1 with the ball, 4:40 to go in the contest. Matthews against Willoughby, drives all the way in, jump stop in the lane, turnaround baseline jumper, rattles out, but an offensive board for Charles, and they'll reset to Matthews. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Coach Carey calls a play. And here comes the execution. Hendricks, ghost screen. Hendricks all the way, jump shot, guarded by Martin. Martin got a piece of it and he missed it short. Great job by Carlito Martin. Here come the Cats down by 1, 4 minutes to go. Scoreless over the last 152, the Wildcats, and only have scored 19 points in this second half. Freeman gets blitzed off a screen. Double teamed, here's Carlo Martin. Extra pass underneath to Ruzon. He goes to work, spins, up and under, got it to go off the glass. Great job by Ruzon. He's up to 6 points tonight. And the Wildcats lead 51-50. Into the lane, Ja'Cory missed it.
Foul.
And then getting knocked to the ground after he grabbed the rebound is Jesus Carrero Martin. He has been on the receiving end of some real punishment today, Carrero Martin.
I mean, when you're 6'7", it takes a little bit of a lot to take you down, and he just kind of gets bowled over. And I don't know if he's asking the ref if it was about it being a flagrant or exactly.
I don't think they're going to call that a flagrant, just a common foul. So I did look up the fact that this is Seneca's highest scoring game of the year. He previously scored 5 against Mississippi State and 5 against Virginia. Seneca likes this building. What can I say?
Yeah, Seneca loves to show up against FAMU. I mean, once again, as I said earlier, it's one of those games you get up for. It's your big rivalry game. I mean, Bethune-Cookman really doesn't have a proper, outside of this SWAC rivalry, I'd argue pretty much it is just FAM. A lot of the other sports, we've had, good seasons, but we haven't been consistently good enough to have we have an issue with Jackson State or Southern. So obviously this is the carryover from all of those sports. I mean, even South Carolina State and some of those old MEAC foes that we had. But you get up for FAMU and you hope that you win this one. And, Seneca was the cause of a lot of heartbreak last year as, it's kind of died out in terms of this Rattler crowd.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball. It could be quiz bowl. Yeah. If it's the maroon and gold against the green and orange, it means just a little bit more. Yeah. And it's something we've lost a little bit in the age of the transfer portal and NIL and all that. And players, need to understand this game means more than every other regular season game you're going to play.
Yeah, this is the one that people care about if you win or lose. You could go, we could be having a very off and on season, but if you beat FAM twice, you beat FAM twice.
Yeah. And of course, the Wildcats are 5-1 against Florida A&M since moving to the SWAC.
And the SWAC has not been kind to Florida A&M much, if at all.
In either basketball, men's or women's. I mean, the man has missed the last 2 tournaments, going 5-13 and 4-14 over the last 2 years.
But new coach, new blood. They're hoping that they can get
Freeman,
a change.
Back to Martin. Fakes the 3, goes down low, Ruzon. Ruzon directing traffic on the low block. He's going to go it himself. Splits a double team, loses the ball. Willoughby fighting for it, and it's going to come to Coffey into the front court. O'Neal jumps, and he gets, a foul is called. I thought that Martin got up and blocked it.
You thought.
Martin's going to pick up his 3rd foul and send O'Neal to the line. But again, another possession for the Wildcats that kind of went nowhere. They posted up Ruzon and then just did nothing with it. It seemed like the Wildcats on offense, they make that first pass and then kind of don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, just kind of started free balling it.
Yeah, O'Neal makes the first.
Martin was kind of open, but there was a defender sagging off. But, you kind of go in. If you're going to commit to that, you got to commit hard, and he just gets stuck. He does put the ball up, but doesn't really put it up to anybody. He just throws it. As O'Neal
makes the second one, and it's 52-51. Rattlers back on top. 3:11 to go. Like every game in between these rivals, it seems like it's going to come down to the wire. Who's going to make the big play? Will it be Brayon Freeman, who's got the ball right now? He once again gets blitzed off the screen. Skip pass, left-hand corner. Willoughby for 3. Oh, he's got it again. He's 4 por 4 from downtown. Oh, somebody cool off Seneca. 52-54. Wildcats with the lead, 2:45 to go.
And now it's a 2-point lead for the Wildcats.
Matthews trying to answer from 3. He's forced to hand it off to Coffey. Now Willoughby switches on to Coffey defensively, gets a screen, top of the key, hands Matthews, 5 to shoot. Matthews now guarded by Martin, step back, triple, good. Every time that Seneca Willoughby hits a 3, Matthews responds. 4-3 for Seneca, 4-3 for Matthews, and it's a 1-point Rattler lead again with 2:10 to go.
Yeah, just a crazy shot that he makes there. Martin all up in his face.
Freeman. Corner triple for Martin, too strong. And the Wildcats get the offensive rebound, and a foul is called as Ward tried to put it back. What a great board by Reggie Ward. He just battled and battled with a guy in Jameen Charles who's got him by 4 inches in height.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. You know, late in these games, Martin had a good shot, just misses it on the shoulder beyond the arc, and Reggie Ward just gets up, gets big, gets that board, tries to put it back up, gets fouled, and now's at the line.
They try. One would tie, 2 would take the lead for Reggie Ward Jr., who's got 7 rebounds so far tonight. His average is 8.2, so he needs 1 more to meet his average for the season. And now we're going to go and send everybody to the benches. Not sure what's going on here.
I guess they're letting it be a break. Coach D is talking around the referee like he wasn't there. And now they're going
and now they're going to come back. I'm not sure what happened there, but Coach D is trying to hype his guys up in the huddle, knowing that a big win on the road here could catapult them into a tough conference start. They go on the road to defending champion Grambling State next, and after that at Southern. Reggie Ward at the stripe, got the first one, swirled it in, tie game at 55, 1:57 to go. We've been treated to some close, if crazy, basketball from both games today.
Cardiac Cats, what can I say?
They were the Cardiac Cats last year. Will they be again? Got the second one. Did Ward, 56-55. Wildcats lead, 1:55 left. The ball has to go to Matthews if you're Florida A&M. He's got 20 and a timeout, Coach Crary. And Coach Crary laying into Roderick Coffey over there on the sideline. Not sure what he did. All he did was dribble the ball up and call timeout.
Yeah, I don't know if he was supposed to do it faster. Or, you know, coaches have ways with their players. Some coaches are very laid back, even in these kind of high 10 situations. Some are always on 10, even if they're up 30. So,
yeah. And Milton Matthews has hit 3 of his last 4, all 3-pointers. And has kept this FAMU team in it, really. Because outside of him, O'Neal's got 7, Charles Eatman and Young have 6. For the Wildcats, Seneca Willoughby has 14, 4 of 4 from deep, and 5 of 7 overall. Freeman's got 10, 5 of 12 from the floor. The Wildcats are 80%, that's 80% from the free throw line, 8 of 10.
That's winning basketball. You miss one of those, it's a tie game. If you miss more than one, we're losing.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, when coaches harp on free throws being important, those free points being extremely important, this is a prime example of it. It's a whole different game if you're not making those free throws.
Here we go. Wildcats up 1, 56-55, 1:50 to go. Rattlers with the ball, attacking the basket to listeners left. The inbound pass from Eatman finds Roderick Coffey. He's guarded by Brayon Freeman, 19 to shoot. Entry pass goes to Jameen Charles. He's got his back to the basket at the free throw line. Looking for movement, comes back to Matthews off the screen. 3 on the way, short. And it goes, it's saved, but it comes right back to Ruzon. Ruzon up the floor. No look pass. Reggie Ward with a one-handed tomahawk. The Wildcats still have to play, though. 1:25 left, they lead 58-55. What a transition jam by Ward. Matthews double-teamed off the screen. Out left to Coffey. He moves back to the top and finds O'Neal. Shakir, O'Neal drives baseline, gets double-teamed, and throws the ball away. Here comes Willoughby into the front court. Willoughby, here's Martine, up to Ruzon. He hits the shot. Ruzon goes down. Oh, sorry, Willoughby goes down.
What?
Crashes to the ground. No call.
What?
The Wildcats bench comes over to help pick him up. And we have a timeout on the floor.
I'm going to be honest, that is an awful call. I'm not going to. Willoughby goes up, lays the ball up, and follow through gets fouled.
Sorry, it was not Willoughby that made the shot. It was Brayon Freeman.
Willoughby's off ball.
Hit off the ball, and I wonder if Coach Theus is going to ask them to review something, or it could be, because there was a lot of bodies down there, I might have missed it, Willoughby might have just run into the stanchion behind the basket and hit his head, which you never want to do, and there's a reason why they're padded. But
not quite sure, but I just saw a guy on the ground.
A 6-0 run for the Wildcats when it matters most over the last 1 minute and 15 seconds, and it's come off the steals, Henson.
Points off of turnovers. That's where, you got to be clutch in these moments. And then Reggie Ward, Tomahawk Jam, I asked him to do something cool for me. He does something cool. I appreciate the free throws were cool, too.
It's sad because we couldn't really revel in it because the game continued.
we had about a half a second, and then the ball was back down the court, but an immediate steal from the Wildcats. And now FAMU has to make, a tough shot and then a quick turn of possession from the Wildcats.
Here we go. FAMU down by 5, 60 ticks left. 1 minute to go. Rattlers on the ball, Wildcats trying to defend it. It's Coffey on the high right wing side, guarded by Martin. Coffey. Matthew on the slip screen, it's still Coffey. Drives left to the lane against Martin, picks up his dribble inside the free throw line. And blocked!
Jesus!
Jesus Carolero Martin rejects Coffey as he tried to go up for it. You said you had one in the can.
I had one in the can. Now
Freeman is fouled with 31 seconds left, and the Wildcats up 5 can try and ice it at the line.
Yep.
Blocked by Jesus. I'm going to have to remember that one.
Yeah, heck. You get the name Jesus. I know it's Spanish, but it's right there. I couldn't, and that's a great defensive possession there, and he is gassed at half court.
This is a 1-and-1 for Breon Freeman. He got the first one. There is no worse feeling in basketball than missing the front end of a 1-and-1.
Yeah.
And thankfully,
now
Breon avoided it that time.
Rattler fans having little faith in their team are already leaving.
Whistles and stoppages of play. Oh, it's a substitution.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds left, guys. We can miss this.
So it's 61-55 with the second free throw coming for Breon Freeman. The Wildcats lead the Rattlers with 31.7 left. The Wildcats have scored the last 7 points in a row.
And hey, the Rattlers have given the Wildcats kind of an idea. Hey, you don't have to give them a free shot if it looks like it's going to be a good open three, especially for Matthews.
Breon Freeman makes both of them. Timeout, Bethune-Cookman. There is a saying that goes around in some college basketball circles online, which is always foul up 3 late. Yeah. Because if you can force them to make 2 free throws, you get the ball back. They can't make 3 from the free throw line.
No.
So if you're up by 3 or more and you have fouls to give, there's really not a reason not to foul like Florida A&M did in the first half. Remember, the Wildcats were up 3, could have been up more, but Florida A&M recognized that they only had 2 team fouls with 5 seconds left and just continually fouled us, took time off the clock every time, and eventually sent us to the locker room up 3. Yeah. The Wildcats were up 3, 30-27 at the half. They have outscored the Rattlers 32-28 in the second half. They have held them under 40% from the floor in the second half, 9 of 23. They have turned FAMU over 15 times with 11 points off of those turnovers. The Wildcats have played defense today, and the stats coming into the game show that they should play like this all season long. 3rd in the league in defensive points per game, 2nd in field goal percentage against, 2nd in three-point percentage against, 5th in rebounds. So this Wildcats team starts with defense, and if we win, I hope we can get Coach Theus on to talk about his defensive philosophy, because really over the last 2 minutes, that has won us this game.
Yeah, excellent defense. An excellent defense creates offensive opportunities, and that's what the Wildcats have taken advantage of here late as Rattlers file out of the den, back outside to their humble abodes.
It's cold out today.
Wish them a safe ride home.
Hey,
here,
we got to drive all the way back to Daytona Beach tonight. That's a 5-hour drive.
Yeah. I do not miss that as the Rattlers try to maximize time spent here.
Here we go. Racing into the front court is Trey Lewis.
Got to take something fast.
28 seconds left. Lewis on the baseline. Kick out.
And this is the opposite of fast.
O'Neal. Stutter step. Kick to the corner. 3 on the way from Lewis. No good. A board by Reggie Ward. He hands off to Freeman, who is fouled. 15 seconds left, and the Wildcats have free throws to ice it. As you said, the green and orange file out of the Lawson Gymnasium.
Yeah, it's one of those plays, a great block, kind of, all of the great defensive plays down the stretch here. Reggie Ward, tomahawk dunk even. And you just
Seneca will be waving to the fans going out.
But the important thing here is that the defense was really good.
Freeman misses the front of the
second.
1-and-1. It's still 62-55 with 13 seconds left. Matthews into the corner.
You got to take that.
Young takes the three. It's blocked
Blocked.
by Martine, and the Wildcats will run it out. This one belongs to the maroon and gold. They've defeated Florida A&M 62-55, and Bethune-Cookman goes to 1-0 in SWAC conference play. And as good as that win was, Henson, it's still just 1-0 in conference play.
Yeah, just 1-0, but it's an important one next to that O. And I think the most important thing about this game is that it shows and proves that the Wildcats aren't just reliant on Thomas. Thomas went 0 for 9, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, 2 for 2 from free.
I'm going to be joined by Sabrina here in a second to break down the ball game as the teams exit the floor. We're going to be hopefully joined by Coach Theus in a moment, but now we have Sabrina Petit home. Sabrina, you were watching that game with raptured interest here at the scorer's table with me, and I'm sure you have thoughts as to how that one ended.
Oh my goodness. Really at the 5-minute mark, we could definitely tell that that was the defining moment when the Rattlers or the Wildcats had to make a decision on who was going to be at the end of that W. And of course, maroon and gold was at the end of that W. But really, if we want to go more statistically in it, that defense was really what won that game. That defense was the best defense I saw them play the entire game. And honestly, if they use that defense for the rest of the season, we might be in a better place than we are going to be in now.
I want to dive more into that, right? Because the Wildcats turned FAMU over 15 times, 11 points off turnovers, but they ended the game on an 8-0 scoring run. They were down 1 with a minute 50 to go, and they never looked back.
They found their heat. And once they found that fire beneath the Wildcats' skin, I guess, they took off with it. And for a second there, the Rattlers started to catch up with us slowly but surely. But I think as soon as the Wildcats saw that the Rattlers was catching up, they, quickly used their brains together to continue to, fight for that win.
At halftime, you said that David Onanina was looking like your player of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick a player of the game, and was it Onanina?
I think I would have to actually go with Bray Freeman. Freeman was probably a player of the game because he was all across the board when it came to offensive and defensive wise. But definitely Onanina showed a different side of sportsmanship and playership when it came to that. Seneca. One word I could say, I am very, very happy to see him be more comfortable behind that ball, especially seeing him play from last year to this year. He definitely seems more confident, and I really, really am going to be excited to see him play.
Seneca loves this building. I mean, you were here with me last year when he hit that corner 3 in overtime to win the game, and tonight he goes 4 for 4 from 3, all in the second half.
I'm really excited to see what this program is going to have later in the season. But towards the end of the game, though, I can't stop talking about that defense. That defense was probably the best defense I've seen them play throughout the entire game, and I really hope they use that same defense when it comes to the game that's happening on the 16th.
I want your opinion on Jesus Carolero Martin, because he may not stuff the stat sheet with points and rebounds and stuff, but some of the stuff he does defensively, like switching off those ball screens, and he got one big block towards the end. Talk about him.
In my opinion, I really do feel like he's probably one of the most fundamental players on our team that we have, and he's calm. And that's, scary when it comes to basketball, because you always think that the person that's more rowdy, the more, in their face are the ones that are usually, rah-rah, but Jesus Carolero was literally doing the things that, picking up the pieces that the Wildcats needed to pick up to finish out the game.
Let's run you through the scoring numbers. First for Florida A&M, Milton Matthews, unbelievable, 20 points. 7 of 15 from the floor, 4 of 11 from deep. Every time that we hit a 3, it seemed that he would come back with one of his own.
Yeah.
But he was kind of let down by the rest of his team. O'Neal had 7. Charles, Eatman, and Young had 6. Hendricks 4. Coffey 3. Lewis 3. The Rattlers as a team shoot 39.2% from the floor, under 40%, and just 24% from 3.
Well, I did do my research, and this is fairly a brand new team as well. So I think this was probably one of the best matchups that we had between the Wildcats and FAMU rivalry that we have. I think we're 15-6 now because we lost against the women's team. But this was probably the best men's matchup between FAMU and B-CU that I've seen in a long time when it came to defensive-wise. It doesn't matter if they put in their starters or, you know, their next players. It really, really seemed like they were playing themselves when they were on the court.
For Bethune-Cookman, who run out 62-55 winners this evening, Brayon Freeman had 14, 6 of 13 from the floor, 0 of 3 from deep, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Seneca Willoughby, 14 points, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, all in the second half, and 5 of 3 from the floor. He did not go to the free throw line. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals for Willoughby. Reggie Ward, 8 points, 8 boards. He continues to be excellent. He's averaging a SWAC high 8 boards per game. He continues that tonight. Daniel Ruzan, also 8 points, 8 boards. The 2 forwards combined for 16 and 16.
Player.
Kamara came in and had a good first half. Didn't feature in the second half, but hit 2 threes for 6 points and 2 steals as well. Cordillera Martin, 5 points. 1 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 4 from deep, 2 of 2 from the line, but 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. It's called getting it done when the bucket is not, the ball's not going in the bucket for you tonight.
Absolutely. All-around player, honestly.
Yeah.
Really excited to see him play some more, too.
David Onanina, 5 points, 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds for him. Trey Thomas, the second leading scorer on this team coming in, had an off night, 2 points, 0 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 4 rebounds, no other stats. But it speaks to the cohesion of this team, right? Is one of your best players has a bad night, everybody else steps up around him.
Right, to pick up those pieces, and that's what continues to make the team an all-better team. Now, since, you know, B-CU is a fairly new team as well, and it's just more games that you consistently see that they're getting more meshed together. So now the SWAC conferences starts up today, I think.
Yep.
Now we're definitely going to be able to see what those preseason games are, you know, all about and has it worked.
Yeah, one thing that was kind of concerning to me, only 8 assists tonight for Bethune-Cookman. They didn't really look like they were sharing the ball on offense too much. A lot of hero ball, and at times in that second half when FAMU came back at us and eventually took the lead, it felt like we were a little bit lost offensively. They would make one entry pass and then just kind of don't know where to go from there. They'd, you know, post up at the free throw line or throw the ball in the corner, and then everybody would stop and look around. And what does Coach Theus have to do to kind of correct those offensive woes?
I don't even think that it's something that Coach Theus particularly has to do, but I just think it comes with more practice. It comes with more games being played within the different teammates, the different players. It comes with time. This is a new team, so I think the more times the players are playing with each other, they know their different types of styles of playing. They know how each other plays. It's going to get better throughout.
We're still waiting to see if we can get head coach Reggie Theus on the mic for a post-game interview. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Wildcat post-game show. Bethune-Cookman defeats Florida A&M tonight 62-55. They lost the women's game, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, we will have Coach Theus on for a post-game interview shortly. Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us in halftime and post-game tonight. You'll hear a lot more from Sabrina as we go forward this season during our home games. Let's take you through the team stats for the Bethune-Cookman 62-55 win over Florida A&M tonight. Bethune-Cookman out-rebounded Florida A&M 37-31 and 11-8 on the offensive glass, leading to 9 second-chance points for the Wildcats, 8 second-chance points for Florida A&M. Wildcats just 8 assists tonight, not sharing a lot on the offensive end. FAMU had 4 blocks, Wildcats had 3, not a ton either side there. Fast break points, Wildcats 7, FAMU 2. That's something that the Wildcats did really well tonight, is limit the fast break opportunities for Florida A&M, even when they turn the ball over. The Wildcats turned the ball over 14 times tonight and 15 in the second, 15 for Florida A&M. I'm now joined by Seneca Willoughby here on the Wildcat postgame show. Seneca, you like playing in this building. Last year you had the 3 to win the game in overtime. This year you come alive in the second half, 4 for 4 from 3. What was your thought process going into the second half?
Just play together and play with my teammates. I give all the credit to my teammates. They found me in open spots, and that's all. Just try to answer when my name was called. That's all.
Talk about playing defense down the stretch. You guys went on an 8-0 run, thanks and mostly in part to that defense. Turned the ball over a couple times. I know Coach Theus's motto is defense first, and you really put that in practice tonight.
Yep. I mean, we focus on in practice defense, defense, defense. So we were just trying to preach that the whole game. I mean, a couple guys on their team hit a couple shots. So all we were trying to do is just play defense because we know defense wins games and defense wins championships, and that's where we're trying to go.
Thank you, Seneca, for joining us here on the Wildcat post-game show. We're now joined by Jesus Carolero Martin. Jesus, welcome to the Wildcat post-game show. You did a little bit of everything tonight. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. You kind of make a name for yourself off the ball. When the ball's really not flowing offensively, you try to find help in other ways.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I try to do. I try to bring the team together, especially towards the end of the game. I feel like sometimes it's tough to finish the games because sometimes we can come down to hero ball and all that. And I try to keep the team together, get everybody involved, and yeah.
Talk about being a veteran presence on this team. This team kind of came together late in the offseason, still trying to find their cohesion through this early part of the non-conference schedule.
Yes, sir.
So how do you bring that senior leadership? I mean, you've been in our college basketball for 5 years.
Yeah, I've been in the league for a while already. But yeah, when in the games, I try to, like I said, I try to bring the team together. Towards the end of the game, try to get the stops, get the guys in the right mindset, and yeah, that's how I show it.
And you had that really impressive block late in the game as
they call
well.
it foul. They call it foul. I'm pretty sure that was a block. But
Thank you, Jesus, for joining us here on the Wildcat post-game show. We're just waiting to hear from Coach Theus before we wrap things up here on the Wildcat post-game show. Wildcats defeat Florida A&M 62-55 to open up SWAC play. Coach Theus, welcome to the post-game show. It kind of went back and forth there for a while, but you always preach defense first. Every time we talk about these teams, on air, off air, it's defense, defense, defense. And the defense got it done tonight. You forced a couple of steals late and went on an 8-0 run.
Well, you know, it was a great opportunity, a great moment for us because, as you already said, we preached defense the whole time. And defense won the game for us. We came out a little flat. I thought guys were a little bit over anxious and not ready for the moment. And they played pretty good early, but we, you know, I was a theory of, you know, the game always settles in, whether you're up, whether you're down. And that's what happened. If you stay with what you're supposed to do, eventually it'll come back your way if you stay with it. As I told Ruzan, who started off really slow. I said, Daniel, if you stick with playing defense and doing things the right way, it will come back. And then toward late in the second half, he made a couple buckets for us and got a couple of rebounds.
Seneca Willoughby likes playing in this building, doesn't he?
Yes,
he hit the big 3 last year. I opened the broadcast talking about the overtime win last year. He comes off the bench, goes 4 for 4 from beyond the arc. What gives him the confidence to do that?
Seneca has got one of the ugliest shots ever. But he's smart. He's got a high IQ. He knows every position on the floor, even at practice. It doesn't matter where I put him. I can put him at the 4, the 5, the 3, the 2, the 1. He knows them all, so he really understands the game. But he has a way. Basically, we call those guys gamers. He has a way when the game is on, he makes big plays.
Trey Thomas, on off night tonight, just 2 points, 0 for 9 from the floor. How, when one of your top scorers is having an off night, does the rest of the team kind of come up and support him?
Well, you know, when it's all said and done, Trey has to find a way to play when this jumper's not falling. If that's all you are and that's all you can do as a player is you play according to how your jumper is, you're going to struggle your whole career. So he's got to figure that out. And he's got to be coachable. And tonight I thought that he wasn't coachable. And that ultimately is what turned into him not playing again. I have a lot of faith in him. I have a lot of trust in him. I just have to try to keep him on the path of least resistance and you know, a positive path.
Thank you, Coach. The Wildcats win this one 62-55. The Wildcats will next go on the road to Louisiana next weekend. They play Grambling State and Southern, a tough road swing. Grambling State, of course, the reigning SWAC champions, and Southern, the team the Wildcats beat in the SWAC tournament last year. That'll do it for our coverage of Bethune-Cookman men's basketball here from Tallahassee in the Al Lawson Center. For Henson White, Sabrina Petit-Holm, my name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the evening. We'll see you in 2 weeks for basketball back at Moore Gymnasium. Have a good night, and hail Wildcats.